Hello again, everybody, with Bob Airey downstairs for the first time ever in Ottawa. I'm Paul Steigerwald, and it's the first time in a long time, Bob, that you're seeing the Penguins with all of their forwards available to them.
Incredible. Must be pretty good for Mike Johnson. He finally gets to play his cards the way he wants. They play without Blake Comeau for 20 games. And Blake Comeau, boy, it didn't take him long to get into things last night against the Wings with an assist on the Hornquist marker and with a goal a few minutes later. And Blake Comeau now with 12 goals, all even strength. He had only 5 last year with Columbus.
Including Blake Comeau, all the goal scorers last night for the Penguins were guys that Jim Rutherford acquired either in the offseason or during this season. And boy, that had to make him feel pretty good against the Detroit Red Wings, a team he used to play against.
Well,
Bob.
you know it did, Staggy. Patrick Hornquist, he came over in the James Neal deal, and he has really been getting his nose dirty around the net. He picked up that goal, a chip off the wall, and for Hornquist, 15 goals on the season. That's not too shabby. David Perron acquired January 2nd, and David Perron has 9 goals as a Penguin over that time period. Nobody's got more, 14 on the season. And Nick Spaulding, the other part of that Neal deal, 21 points. Mr. Versatility, Nick Spaulding, who scored last night, and he kind of is that Swiss Army knife without Pascal Dupuis, who was injured, by the way, in this building.
We have a Norris Trophy winner in this game and a Norris Trophy hopeful going head-to-head.
We do. Chris Letang, he's hopeful, and he is rising very quickly right now. 42 points, a +6 for Chris Letang, only 2 behind Mark Giordano. And the thing about Letang, who was a +3 last night, his defensive abilities kind of put him a notch above the rest, including this guy, Erik Karlsson. To me, yes, he's a great offensive player. He's got 190+ shots to lead Ottawa in that category. He has won the Norris before. The captain of the Ottawa Senators, you got to watch him. He is a rover out there on the ice.
Well, it doesn't matter where Patrick Hornquist plays in the lineup. You know one thing, if you want to find him, just look near the net. That's where he'll be, as he was last night when he scored the first goal of the game against Detroit. He'll be right next to Dan Potash in a moment. Coming up on Root Sports. Well, the Pens and the Sens for the second of 3 meetings between these clubs this year. The Penguins will be back here in April. There's our Kia starting goaltender tonight, Thomas Greiss, looking to get back on the winning track.
Well, he is. He's 2-2-2 in his last 6 with the 3 goals against. There's Robin Lehner making a 7th straight start. That's a career high for Robin Lehner.
Mike Johnston from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, the head coach of the Penguins. The head coach of the Senators is Dave Cameron. He's from Prince Edward Island, which is not too far away from where Mike Johnston grew up. The Penguins back in their own zone to start the hockey game. Paul Martin starting the game with Rob Scuderi as a pair here tonight. Not paired up with Chris Letang to start the game, but now Martin goes to the bench, and Simon Dupre steps on to play with Scuderi as the puck is dumped in. And Milan McCulloch has it for Ottawa, and he'll lift it out to center ice. Mark Stone, a rookie who's doing a great job for the Senators with 12 goals. Moves it back on defense, and Erik Karlsson there, patiently looking up and waiting for folks to jump onto the ice from the bench. He looks right wing and out of the reach of Bobby Ryan. Back into the Penguin zone where Dupre goes back to play for the Penguins. Flushes it up the boards, and Nick Spaulding moves it out to center. And the Senators break it up, and the neutrals are going. Bo Bennett got hit there, and now they're offside. Boy, they had a good opportunity there to take advantage of that turnover, and they couldn't do it. And we get a whistle. Rivers Casino tips to win, Bob.
Well, the power play's got to get it going. You know that, Staggy. Mike Johnson knows it. He wants more shots. Shot first mentality. They got bodies there. How about Thomas Greiss? We mentioned it. He's got to get a little better. The team's got to be better in front of him and have that intestinal fortitude, suck it up a little bit. A late night after a big win against Detroit last night. Let's see what the Penguins got.
Chris Letang brings it right towards the net, tries to stuff it in, and he does! Chris Letang scores on the backhand. He caught Lehner by surprise. He had no way of getting over to that left post to stop him.
Fantastic stuff by possibly your next Norris Trophy winner, Letang, off the faceoff. Watch him drive the puck down below the goal line. Everybody picks up their men except for Letang. And I don't know, that puck had eyes as Letang tried to wrap it, or did wrap it on the backhand. You could see Bennett went to the front of the net. I don't know if a Senator put it in went off a pad. It went off Leonard's stick that was down and went in between his 5-hole. That's exactly what happened. Went off Leonard's left pad, off the backside of his paddle. The paddle was down and it went between the 5-hole. He's a big, long, leggy netminder at 5-hole between the legs. Always a good spot.
And Letang was in such a hurry to get there with that tighter corner. He can turn there with those different nets that they've had the last couple of years. As he's able to get around there on the backhand to put it in. Leonard did get a skate over on the post, but as Bob pointed out, it did go between the pads. So the Penguins jump right on the Senators with Chris Letang scoring his 10th goal of the season, a 101. And now
we already got a battle going on between the bench and the referees right now. Take a look, one more look. The backhand off that left pad, off the backside of the paddle, and right through the 5-hole. As that puck pinballs in behind Robin Lehner.
Well, when you only get off to a good start in a hockey game, it's always nice to score the first goal. And there's Chris Letang, only 1 point behind Mark Giordano now. And Giordano has 44 points in 54 games. Letang has 48 points. I'm sorry, he is right behind him in 49 games now. This is his 49th game of the season. Now the puck to the corner, and the Penguins are looking to get out of their own zone quickly here. They just move it to center. Erik Karlsson with good gap. Moves it to the left side where Mark Methot will drive it in to the right wing corner. And the bouncing puck taken by Karlsson, stolen away. And it is LaPierre moving it to the corner to Zach Sill back in the lineup for the Penguins tonight. Robert Bortuzzo at the right point. Steve Downey is a healthy scratch. Bortuzzo's shot off a stick. LaPierre in the corner. Left it there for Craig Adams, the Penguins' fourth line. Adams shooting it from a sharp angle, and the save made by Leonard. Adams will get his own rebound. Back to the front of the net. LaPierre was standing right there in the doorstep, and it was stopped. And now Karlsson able to find MacArthur, who drops it off. And Curtis Lazar dumps the puck into the Penguins zone. And Grice will stop it there for Robert Bortuzzo.
Leonard 6'5", 225. You talk about his long legs. The Penguins trying to get to him again as they have traffic, as they did last night against the Wings. Traffic in front of the netminders.
Another chance here. Crosby on the backhand, and a good save by Leonard there with the right pad. Sneaky shot by Sid. Held scoreless again last night by the Detroit Red Wings.
Yes, he and Malkin, 2 straight games. That's happened only twice this year that those 2 superstars have gone without a point.
Now Letang back to the puck, moves it up the right wing wall. Sid finds David Perron on the right side. Perron steps to center. And he'll push it up into the Senator zone. They go D to D. Cowan to Ceci, who dumps it to the corner. Dupre saw Stone coming, and he didn't let him take the puck. He stole it away from him, moved out the right wing to Como. Great pass across to Malkin, right on the tape. Malkin down the wing, trying to cut in on Borowiecki. And Malkin brings it up high now to Scuderi's shot. And then went off the glove of Leonard, and then the net was partially tipped forward by Hornquist hanging around that cage again. Another shot from a sharp angle by Malkin. Sails off the glass, and the Senators quickly bounce out to center ice. Puck is dumped in. Dupre goes back to play it. Around now for Scuderi, and up the wall for Evgeny Malkin. Great to see the Penguins with all hands on deck. The only exception will be Christian Ehrhoff, who is on the trip and skated this morning. An optional skate that had only a couple of players on the ice to shoot pucks at Thomas Greiss so he could get ready for the game here tonight. Sutter dumps the puck into the corner. Now gets in on the forecheck. He and Bennett teaming up. Sutter centers for Spalling. And it's now Pouliot shooting, and a blocker save made by Leonard on the short side. Senators have a tough time getting out of their own zone. Here's Sutter with it again. Sutter cutting in to the backhand, and he lifted it up over the goal.
He didn't miss by much. A lot of traffic in front again. Sutter and Bennett picking up the assists on the Letang marker to open up the scoring here. And good to see Bo Bennett get on the scoreboard. That'll help his confidence.
Now it's Derek Pouliot back to the puck with Chris Neal bearing down on him. Pouliot sent it around the horn and on all the way out to center. Kind of quiet here right now in Ottawa, where the Senators have lost 9 games this year. They're 11-9-4 on their home ice. This is Curtis Lazar. Backhand shot steered away by Greiss. Now behind the net, MacArthur steps out. Looks to the right point. Karlsson just sails one to the opposite corner. Over to get it is Chiasson. He moves it out to the point. And stepping up is Mathot to drive it right back behind the net to MacArthur. MacArthur centers and a pinball's around in front of Grace, and the Penguins able to come out of there with it. And this is Lapierre carrying up the right wing. Cross corner dump. In after it goes Sill. Didn't get there first. Carlson tapped it up the wall. Now it's handled by Lazar, who was the captain of the Canadian World Junior team that won the gold medal. He goes to the bench. MacArthur in on the forecheck, but he's the only one there as the Senators were changing. The Penguins easily able to bring it right out of their own zone. Now it is Lapierre just banking it off the boards to center. Cody Ceci moves it into the middle of the Turris. His right wing pass broken up, and Perron can't get to it. McCulloch does, and now Letang trying to take advantage of the bounce off the stick. He can't get it out. Cowan to Ceci. Ceci shot kicked out by Greiss. Up the wall for Kunitz, and he just angles one out to center.
Big Stone out there against the Crosby unit.
Crosby with it to Kunitz. His shot and a save made by Leonard, and no further play.
Well, Pittsburgh with the first 6 shots on net, and Chris Letang, that star defenseman, has opened up the scoring.
1-0 Penguins here in the first, and tonight's UPMC Sports Medicine injury update is video proof of what my colleague Paul Steigerwald just told you. Christian Ehrhoff on the trip, and while the boys did not have a morning skate, he did take the frozen H2O this morning. Ehrhoff has missed the last 6 games with an upper body injury, but head coach Mike Johnston telling us tonight that even though he's here, his status is unchanged. We'll see if he skates with us Saturday in Chicago, guys.
Derek Pouliot playing in his 14th game of the season in place of Christian Ehrhoff. And the lead pass, and Ehrhoff was the hero of the game that the Penguins played against the Senators back in early December. A 3-2 win. Ehrhoff scoring the winning goal late. A beautiful shot, a rising shot over the shoulder of Craig Anderson, who was in goal for that one. He's injured right now for the Senators. Here comes Malkin into the Senators zone, drops it off down to Como. Como delays, shoots it. It's blocked off a shin guard of Jared Cowan. Now Malkin's going to bring it all the way to neutral ice and regroup it on his own. Move it across the ice now for Hornquist, who turns and shoots it, and it's blocked again by Cowan. Malkin takes it now for Pittsburgh. To Kulu a drive, and he's just hammering it wide of the goal.
Oh, that thing just knuckled by that blocker side of Leonard.
Letang looks for Crosby cutting in off the bench. He was tripped up a bit. Crosby out of the corner. Able to maintain possession of the puck and work it to Letang, and now to Paul Martin. Martin wrists one wide. Steered to the corner. Taken now by Hornquist, who sends it back in behind the goal. Letang hustles up to get to behind the net for Crosby, and it just jumped off his stick, but he's able to get the puck back and find a man coming off the bench. Perron with a shot and a save by Leonard.
Crosby's just faster than 5 Ottawa Senators there, Staggy, because the Penguins were changing. Crosby was all alone and still dominating.
And Perron cuts in, drops it off. Centering pass, just chopped wide of the goal by Kunitz. And now Pouliot pokes it down the boards, with the Senators able to work it back up into the Penguin zone. This will be an icing call against the Ottawa Senators.
You talked about that Ehrhoff goal. Could it have been any more perfect? He measured up Anderson and basically put it right where the goalpost and crossbar meet. Just a spectacular shot by Ehrhoff up over that left shoulder of Anderson. The winning marker late in that hockey game. A 3-2 Penguin victory.
The Sutter, Bennett, Spalling line on the ice for the Penguins right now. And off the draw back out to center comes Derek Pouliot. Moves it left wing for Spalling, who dumps it to the corner. Bennett gets in after it against Mathot. Mathot turning it up the wall, but Spalling on the forecheck forced a turnover. He's got the puck. Spalling hunts the puck to the corner, moves it out to Sutter. His shot, and it's blocked away, and Sutter now back in good defensive position after coming back to make that play. Neal shoots it down low, and it's an offside call. Penguins not happy with Neal shooting the puck. And he was offside, and he's now under siege a bit there with Robert Bortuzzo in the middle of it. Looking at our barrel leaders, Sidney Crosby played his 600th game last night. You see the numbers, and those are all Hall of Famers on that board, and some very entertaining hockey players too. The guy that sits behind Denis Savard might be the most entertaining of all. He was really something. And of course, Bobby Orr and Mario put on shows on a nightly basis. Mathot drives Drives the puck into the Penguin zone around the horn for Scuderi. Scuderi had an assist last night on the Spalling tip-in. And this is MacArthur with it to the point, and Karlsson with a good shot there. That went up off the goalpost.
Yeah, I did.
He took just a brief, short wind-up on that shot and got a lot on it.
I think that's the key. You look at all the goals that are scored last night against Detroit. Never did the puck stay on the Penguin stick. A couple of one-timers, a deflection, and a tip. I mean, those are the kind of ways you got to score goals. Goaltenders are moving, catch them off guard. That's the way you score in the National Hockey League. And you talked about Karlsson just with a quick shot, a swashbuckler out there on the point, the captain of these Senators. Got the MacArthur pass. There's the short abbreviated swing with traffic in front. And on the blocker side of Greiss, rang off that goalpost.
Karlsson with 36 points after scoring 74 last year. He won't reach that number, but the Senators in general just not the team they have been the last couple of years in terms of their offense. But they still have some good young hockey players. They're not a very experienced group. They only have 4 guys over 30. They're the least experienced team in the NHL. Not the youngest, but the least experienced in terms of games as they ice the puck here. Another faceoff coming up in the said zone.
Yes, longtime fan favorite. Daniel Alfredsson has moved on. And Jason Spezza has moved on. So now it is that young group, that young core that's got to get it done here. They mixed in a couple older players, and Neil, MacArthur, those type of guys. But the young guys getting a good opportunity to play. Even if they don't make the playoffs, it's going to be a tall order for Ottawa right now.
Karlsson able to get control of the puck. A great skater. Bobby Orr calls him the best skater in the game. And when the guy like that says that, you kind of listen, don't you? Now here's Hornquist with it. He'll move it out to center. Certainly a smooth skater, Karlsson.
I'll pull a tang against him any night.
Here's Stone with it down the wing, shooting, and he missed it out of the glove side of Greiss. Now it is Malkin trying to get through center ice. He ran into Vorvietsky, and then he goes to the bench. And Eric Gryba back into his own zone, winds it up the near wing. We get another whistle here and a face-off coming up. We invite you to tweet us at Root Sports Pit using the hashtag PensBooth. It's all brought to you by Point Park University.
Well, the other night, Gary Agnew, he asked the defense to create. 4 different players picked up assists last night against Detroit, and your goal scorer tonight, Chris Letang. So Gary Agnew activating that defense. He wants more offense from the D.
If you're thinking about it, maybe tweet us your favorite moment in the rivalry between the Pens and Sens over the years going back to the playoffs. Here's Crosby after the puck cutting in, shooting. He scores! Sid on the money with that shot, makes it 2-0.
Wow. Unbelievable. See, you don't hold on to the puck. You get rid of it right away, and you finish off checks in the neutral zone. Chris Kunitz with a big hit. Boom! And he pinned his man, grab it to the wall. That allowed a lane for Sidney Crosby down that left side, a rolling puck, and right by that left arm of the netminder. Leonard tried to square up to that puck. Sidney Crosby, the puck was oscillating on the ice, but he got all of it right by that glove hand. 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Wow.
You don't see Sidney score many slap shot goals. That was a beauty.
Here's Leonard with it now. He's still looking for that puck. Now it is David Legwand moving it to the front of his own net to Karlsson, who glides back to center ice with the puck on his stick into the Penguin zone. He'll dump it in off the glass. In after it goes Neal. Sends it back behind the net. Condra couldn't get to it. People tell us that the Senators, Bob, have a tough time making tape-to-tape passes, and we've seen that already in this game. They're just not sharp in terms of getting the puck stick-to-stick. They've had opportunities to get the puck out of their own zone, and their passes just aren't where they need to be.
Well, they're really trying to match lines here, Stag, and that has really taken them out of their rhythm. Centermen come on for face-offs, they come back off. I mean, I think you just got to let a young team like this play right now. You get into that matchup game. We've heard coaches say it time and time again. It takes you right out of your rhythm.
You've heard Mike Johnson talk about that a lot. It says one of the things he likes about being on the road is he doesn't have to concentrate as much on that, and he can just concentrate on having his team change quickly and get that tempo going that they want. Here's Letang back to the puck, up the wall, and Adams takes it away from Lazar. And here comes LaPierre to center. And I just got to ask you, Bob, when we get an opportunity to talk about the balance of the Penguins and their lineup now that they've got everybody back. Here's a battle now in the corner. And Adams chips it in behind the net. Cowan will take it there. Cowan just waits now as both teams are shuffling the deck. Malkin's new unit steps on. Malkin, Hornqvist, and Como. Como, the only right-hand shooting winger who's playing on his off wing. Here's Turris with it, shooting, and the save by Greiss. Scuderi, who got the assist on the Crosby goal, dumped it to the corner. Up the wall it comes. Hornqvist trying to get possession of it, and he moves it into the middle. Now it came right back to him, and he finds Malkin. Hornqvist on his backhand, centers for Malkin. He chopped it in front. It comes out to Scuderi. Scuderi keeps it on this side of the ice for Malkin, but his pass for Scuderi hit a leg, and Rob will go back to center and move it to the near wing. Como had it taken away by Stone. Mark Stone, the rookie, sets it up for Turris. Back to Stone, cutting in, turns the cage, and it went off a leg wide of the net. He tried to center for Turris in front. Now Turris behind the goal, and Simon Dupre able to take it away from him. Dupre on the ice with Scuderi. Those two a pair again for the Penguins as he dumps a puck in over the line. Kunitz trying to get after it. Falling down was David Perron. He's got snow all over him as he gets himself back up. And now the puck dumped to the corner. Crosby in after it against Greiss, but he now loses an edge. That's two players who just fell down. Wondered about the ice there. And now here's Letang taking the pass from Martin ahead to Kunitz. And he'll dump it into the Senator zone. Borowiecki, Ottawa native, goes back for it. Penguins take it away though. Kunitz with a drive. That's blocked. Crosby with a shot. Leonard made the save. Sidney Crosby with it again. The Penguins having their way with the Senators here in the first period, out shooting them 10-4. 6:45 remaining, and the Penguins leading 2-0 on goals by Chris Letang and Sidney Crosby.
Ottawa definitely out of sorts right now. Greiss tried to come out with a more physical shift after Kunitz gave it to him on the last one that led to that Penguin Crosby marker. But you can sense they're not a unit.
Bennett steals, shoots it. Leonard scrambles out to stop Bo Bennett. And a great opportunity there.
Wow. It was like a big monster, Leonard coming out there. He was out of sorts after the turnover. But a big save that keeps the Ottawa Senators in this hockey game. 2-0 Pittsburgh.
2-0 Pittsburgh leading Ottawa. The Penguins feeling pretty good about themselves now that everybody's back, including that guy, Blake Como.
Yeah, he worked with a device with Mike Kadar that restricted his oxygen intake, Staggy, and he worked with him, certainly off the ice, trying to keep his legs ready, working on the lungs. He could do that with the upper body injury that Como sustained. He missed 20 games, but boy, he's been able to come back here. And you see when Malkin has got the puck, he gets himself into open ice. And he's become a real dangerous weapon. He missed one opportunity already in the first period, just missed that net. But anytime Malkin goes down that right side, he opens up. Both he and Hornqvist have that one-shot ability, that one-time ability. This line has definitely got chemistry.
Now it's the Sutter, Spaulding, Bennett line, and that one I think has a chance to become a very good line because we've seen good chemistry between Sutter and Bennett all year. Just got to get Bo Bennett back to feeling that confidence that he can have with the puck. He almost scored a moment ago prior to the break. Here's Bortuzzo going back to the puck, and he did a great job to steal the puck and kick it to his stick and shoot it, and Leonard had to make a heck of a save. Here's Bortuzzo in the corner. Under pressure from Hoffman, who's got 17 goals. Number 68 of the Senators, a rookie. Senators trying to make it happen now on the attack. The Penguins, Spaulding had a stick on it, but it comes to the right point. Carlson fumbles the puck, and he'll have to retreat to center ice. Now dumped in again, and Pouliot banks it off the boards. Taken now by Malkin. Pouliot sends it behind the net for Scuderi. Up the wing now to Blake Como. Como couldn't get it out. Senators keep it in the zone. Como tries again to get a hold of it, but it's back into the corner. MacArthur around now for Mark Mathot. Mathot's going to be a UFA, and the trading deadline, perhaps. Here's a shot by Carlson. That's blocked. There might be teams interested in him. There's Como down the wing against Carlson with no stick. Como pulls up. Carlson stayed right with him, but he just dangles the puck right around him and then centers it, but it's controlled there by Eric Condra of the Senators.
That was good, really good stuff there. Carlson looked like he pretty nifty without the stick until Como danced him, Staggy. And a lot of players, when you don't have your stick, you'll try to give a little bit of ground so that you can play the player a little bit easier, give him a little more ice, but he tried to go right on top of Como, and Como with a nifty little move.
Sutter, or rather Kunis, dragging the puck to center ice and taken now by Eric Gryba of the Senators. They go D to D. Borowiecki up the middle now for Turris. And to the left wing. Martin stepped up, but it's going to be dumped to the corner by Mathot and around now to the near side. Perron races over to trying to get to the puck. And it's taken by Stone. Mark Stone had the puck taken right away from him neatly by Sidney Crosby, who busts back to center ice and shoots it long to the glove of Leonard. And he'll hold on with 3:47 to go. You know, just for your information, the Penguins were 8-9-3 without Blake Como in the lineup. Rob Scuderi will visit with Dan Potash in our neighborhood Ford store intermission with Rob King and Jay Caulfield. Scuderi getting the assist on the Crosby goal, his 8th point of the season, all assists. He's now a +11. He's become the conscience of the Penguins in terms of their defensive game. And really, I think has just been a great guy, go-to guy for the media to kind of get the pulse and the temperature of the Penguins in terms of how their team game is coming along. A guy who certainly understands that, having gone to Los Angeles and been a big part of the way they play. And the Penguins obviously looking to become a better playoff team, and Rob Scuderi a big part of that quest. The puck is dumped in now by Sill to the corner. Borowiecki goes back to get it. And the Penguins take it back again. And here's LaPierre on his backhand to the forehand. He wheeled it back to the corner. Now Adams dumps it right back into the corner. Still with a good body check there, but the Senators Gryba got it to Turris. He finds Borowiecki, and Borowiecki able to dump it into the Penguin zone, but he dumped it too early, so it's icing against the Senators.
Yeah, I don't understand that play at all. That's just that's a bonehead play that you don't make, and that's what losing teams do right there. You got to have smarts when you play in this game. You carry the puck another 3 feet and you dump it in. So that could lead to a Penguin opportunity as they bring out their big guns, Malkin, Como, and Hornquist, with a face-off in the offensive zone against some tired bodies right now. We have a team that's young, you know, have a lot of confidence. They've lost some leadership, Staggy. It's really tough, and it's tough to right a ship when it's going the wrong way, and it's going to be tough to play against this Penguin team that's got all their parts rocking and rolling right now, even in the second of back-to-back.
Here's Malkin with a slapper. That one wide of the goal. And Mika Zibanejad had a stick on it, but he lost it. Look at Como, man. He can skate. He can shoot. He's
what
a hitter.
Value. You talk about value.
He makes $750,000 a year.
I'm telling you, man.
He's the bargain of the year in the National Hockey League. He is. No doubt. And he's doing a lot of things that you need to do if you want to get a raise, which he's going to get. Now here's Malkin losing the puck to Zibanejad. He sent it across for Bobby Ryan, who was about to one-time it, but didn't do so. Now he's got the puck in the corner. Out to the point. Carlson drifting. Pulls the trigger, and a sharp angle shot by Zibanejad is stopped by Greiss at the post. Chiasson over there to get it, and he moved it up the wall, and Hornquist sent it north, but it's going to be icing against Pittsburgh.
Well, Como's tired here as he's leaning on the bench in front of me.
On the latest edition of Inside Penguins Hockey, find out what Gary Roberts would do if he's mic'd up during the Mario Lemieux fantasy camp. Watch Robert Bortuzzo mix up some of his favorite sweet treats and much more. Inside Penguins Hockey tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Steggy Como is really sucking air right now. Let's hope that mask worked when he was working with Mike Kadar there trying to restrict that oxygen. He just wants to get off the ice if he can. He's stuck over on the left wing right now, and Mike Johnson was monitoring his minutes. He said he's good to play again.
Taken out by Malkin, moves it out. Mathot delivers it behind the net. Eric Pouliot physical down there as he needs to be in his own zone, but the Senators retain possession. Mathot with a wrister, and Greiss gloves it down for another face-off in the Penguin zone. Minute 48 remaining in this first period. 11 shots for Pittsburgh and 6 for the Senators.
Malkin and Como needed that break as they got to the bench here. And really a good start for Thomas Greiss. A couple of feeble shots early on him. 11-6 right now in favor of Pittsburgh.
In the second period of their 2-1 win over the Buffalo Sabres the other night, the Senators were outshot 21-4 by the Buffalo Sabres, a team that was lucky to get 20 shots in a game earlier this year. Here's Legwand with it. Now he loses it, and Sutter's able to lift it to center, so the Senators won the game, but they had a horrible second period the other night, and Leonard was tough against the Sabres in that second.
Yeah, Leonard's been good. When they give up 35-plus shots against Leonard, he's 6-1 with a 2.12 and a .943 save percentage.
Penguins could well be on their way to a 35-shot game here tonight. They're up 2-0. Goals by Letang and Crosby here in the first.
I love the way Pouliot went back there, Steg. Instead of giving it away in the neutral zone, he turned it to the forehand. Look at this.
He is a nifty player in that neutral zone. Can really stick handle. Now here's Stone carrying it up to center, moving it quickly to the left wing. And Milan Michalek, who's playing better lately. He just signed a 3-year contract in the offseason with the Senators, despite all the knee problems he's had the last couple of years. Perron dumps the puck in. He was hit hard by Greiba, but the puck got all the way to the corner. 36 seconds remaining in the period. Turris lost it to Perron. Back to Dupre. He tried a quick pass. It comes all the way around, and it's going to be icing against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, tried a quick little tip. Crosby wasn't able to get a piece. We talked about Pouliot and the way he's able to navigate. Here he is. Am I going to throw it this way? No, I'm going to go back this way because everybody's going to turn away from me. And look at this patience. This guy's a young kid. He hasn't even played 20 games in the National Hockey League. He's got that kind of patience and poise. That's why Mike Johnson wants him on this roster.
Here's the thought moving up. Side of the net, Bobby Ryan tried a tricky play at the side of the goal, but couldn't get the shot away, and it's cleared by Dupre back to center, where Mathot dumps it right back into the Penguin zone. 10 seconds to go in the first period. And Zibanejad is run over by Dupre over there on the boards. After moving the puck, and then Kunis dumps the puck into the Senators zone as time expires. So a dominant first period for Pittsburgh. They get the early goal from Letang. Crosby adds one about halfway through. They outshoot the Senators 11-6.
Yeah, I love the way they're competing, and they look a unit of 4 lines here. You can see healthy bodies, everybody playing as a team, and they look strong here in the first.
And let's go to Robin Jay in Pittsburgh.
Despite what you may have heard, sometimes it's not how you finish, but how you start. Good start last night, good start tonight as we head back to the second period of play. And Steige and Bob rejoin us now from Ottawa. Guys?
Well, folks here in Ottawa start their day sometimes by skating up that Rideau Canal with their briefcases on the way to work. What a beautiful city it is. And Bob, yeah, the Penguins, I think, realize now they've got to jump on teams with the talent they have, and they certainly have done that the last couple of nights.
Well, they really have. You know, they're getting shots through. Guys are collapsing in the front of the net. You saw last night, Letang, the shot through. Hornquist scores a .51 in. Como follows it up at 12:15. How about tonight? 101. Letang is able to score, and Crosby follows it up at the 9:57 mark. So a big start. The Penguins are 24-5-5 when they score first, and I tell you, first goals mean a lot in the NHL.
Tonight's face-offs are presented by the new face of Northwood Realty Services. Well, the Senators dominated in the face-offs in the first period, winning 71% of them. There were only 17 draws. And it didn't matter, did it? Because the Penguins lead 2-0 and outshooting the Senators 11-6 in that first period.
And of course, the Penguins open the scoring off a face-off win. Sutter, Bennett getting the assists on the Letang goal, Staggy. So those offensive face-offs, you win some of those, you can get some good opportunities, especially with tired bodies on the ice.
Pretty obvious, isn't it, Bob, that the Penguins coaching staff is stressing guys going to the net. We've seen bodies in front of that goal and a lot of goals lately for the Penguins.
They're stressing that. They're also stressing mobility on that blue line. Don't get shots blocked. Even if they have to shoot it wide, guys down there in front of the net, they'll make a play on that puck.
Penguins in their own zone here to start the second period, and a shot from a sharp angle comes all the way through to Mark Mathot. And he's able to distribute it back behind the net for Kyle Turris. Turris snaps it along and off the stick of Michalek and carried back to center now by Sidney Crosby. Crosby pulling up. Perfect pass to Paul Martin. Wants to stick handle to the slot. It comes to Kunitz. He couldn't find the puck, and Erik Karlsson takes off with it. Karlsson straight up the alley trying to get to the goal, but Letang just whacked it right off his stick. Then back, make that Perron who whacked it off his stick and right back to the Ottawa line. Taken now by Mathot, and he moves it into the middle. Now it is Chiasson on the near wall, and he's able to backhand it back down into the corner. Quick shot by Bobby Ryan. That one almost sneaked between the pads of Greiss, but he's able to freeze it and hang on to it on the post.
Squeeze that puck, did Greiss there. And Sidney Crosby, talk about a guy looking over his shoulder as he, look at him, he's gonna look, what do I got? I'm looking, I got Letang with me. What's Letang gonna do? He's not gonna hang back. He's gonna drive, clear that space for Martin as Crosby just flips it back on the backhand, and you saw two guys driving the net there to create that room behind so that Sidney Crosby can make that play. Really good stuff. Letang already with a marker here, and he joined that rush in hopes of creating that third goal for Pittsburgh.
Scuderi snaps it up the wing. The Penguins Sutter couldn't drag it to center. And the Penguins regain possession. Now Dupre moves it out to center ice. Gordietzky stepped up on Bo Bennett. Puck went up in the air. Bennett found it. And now Dupre in his own zone trying to get it out. Stays in the Penguin zone, and Rob Scuderi will take control. Mike Hoffman, number 68 of the Senators, is not that Jaromir Jagr's his hero or anything. They just gave him that number at training camp, and he hung on to it a long time ago. Day Automotive brings you a great day for hockey. Mario Lemieux named the MVP of the All-Star game, his very first All-Star game back in 1985. And the Wales Conference beat the Campbell Conference 6-4. It was fun because Mario, of course, was playing for the Penguins. It was his rookie season, and it was an opportunity for him to play with a lot of great players, and he won the MVP. So that was a nice treat for all of us who were following Mario's career early. As Greiss freezes the puck, we'll get a face-off in the Penguin zone.
Well, Thomas Greiss, in a backup role this year for Pittsburgh. Mike Johnson said these goaltenders, these backups, must make practice their game. When you're out there, the power play and the penalty killer going against each other, that's your game. So he wants him to kind of simulate game-type action during the practice. Keep himself into it, Staggy.
Hornquist delivers it behind the net. Como in there after it, working against Karlsson. Comes around now for Mark Mathot. And the former Blue Jacket sends it out to center. Ryan dropped it off to Zibanejad. He had it, then lost it. Now Martin moves it ahead. Then Malkin can't take the pass. He'll get in after it, though. With Karlsson getting there first, he dishes it back to the corner to his partner, Mark Mathot. And Mathot looks for Bobby Ryan. Ryan, a big power forward, comes to center into the Penguin zone. Ryan threw it through the slot to the right side, and Chiasson. He's bumped over there by Max Lapierre. Chiasson went down. Former Dallas star can't control the puck, and the Penguins start out. It is Bortuzzo coming to center. Sill tried to go right wing to Adams. The fourth line on the ice, turning it over at the offensive blue line. And now Condra returns it right back to the Penguins. Robert Bortuzzo, and up the right wing now to Adams. Greg Adams trying to gain the red line, and Cowan prevented him from doing that, but he's still able to softly dump the puck into the Senators zone. Taken now by Jared Cowan. First round pick of the Senators, moves it out to center. He was taken 9th overall in 2009. He ices the puck, and face-off coming up in Ottawa ice.
Well, Thomas Greiss looking for a little more success here tonight. He had a really good start to his Penguin career, did Thomas Greiss. A little more 50-50 right now for the big netminder. Took over in that backup role. It was Zakhoff last year. It's Greiss this year. Jimmy Rutherford looking to make sure that he's got a good stable of netminders here in the Pittsburgh system.
Greiss is 1-2-2 in the second game of back-to-backs this year. And I looked it up, Bob, just to see the Penguins have had really good success over the last several years in back-to-back games, the second of back-to-backs. And with Fleury usually playing that first game, you had Brent Johnson going 6-2-1 and 10-11. Vokoun 4-1 in the lockout year, 12-13. Zakhoff last year 5-1-1. Johnson went 3-3-1 and 11-12 the year he had the bad hip. But if you add it all up, 18-7-3. That's a really good record for the backup goalies over the last several years for the Penguins. And Greiss trying to match that here if he can. There are 6 more opportunities after this one for him to do that. Here's Perron shooting. Sharp angle. That's off of Leonard. And now carried back to center by Milan Michalek. Michalek into the Penguin zone. Dumps it in off the end boards. Taken by Stone. He delivered it behind the net. Dupre able to keep it alive for Sidney Crosby. Out now to Chris Kunitz. With it stripped of the puck, but it goes into the Senators zone. Perron after it. Ceci got there first and turned it around the wall where it's taken by Evgeny Malkin. To David Perron. Centering pass. Hit the skates of Cowan and coming back to center Stone, but Malkin on the back check took it away. Drops it off down to Blake Comeau. Down the right wing comes Comeau. He loves to turn that corner, and he finds Letang back over to Comeau. Shoots it in this block, and then Malkin takes it. Comeau on the left wing sends it back down to the point. Paul Martin. Martin skating nicely against Stone.
Stone without a stick.
Letang back around near side for Comeau. Comeau with a little bit of a lane to the net. Instead goes behind the goal. Good puck control here. Shot by Hornqvist. And I think clicked off or glanced off the blocker of Leonard. It's not wide of the net. Here's Malkin with it to the right point of Letang. Letang is challenged there by Stone, and he's able to keep the puck alive for the Penguins.
Stone basically useless here without a stick. He should have went to the bench and grabbed one by now. The bench is on the other side of the red line, but this may end up costing the Sens.
Comeau controlling. It's unbelievable how much the Penguins have controlled this puck. Letang again to Comeau. Comeau shooting it. Now Hornqvist for Letang. Letang for Malkin. Stone.
He's trying. He's like he didn't take a penalty yet, or the Penguins haven't scored.
He just kept the Penguins to the outside to their credit, with the Penguins controlling the puck. Now Bortuzzo behind the net out for Hornqvist. Cowan stays on him. Gives him a rough ride. Malkin for Hornqvist. They can buy him to McCulloch. He's able to bank it away. And Pouliot going back to get it. Icing is called against the Ottawa Senators.
Well, Stone's got to stay out on the ice. I think he should have to stay out on the ice without a stick on this icing call. Why does he get to get a stick back and get an advantage from this icing call? Take a look at the Perron play. Just a bad angle. Tried to score or even just play for a rebound there. And here the Ottawa Senators get back on the ice. Stag, I know you're with me. How about having Stone play without a stick right now? Ottawa Senators were allowed to ice that puck. That giving Stone the ability to put a stick in his hand. Now they call timeout. Not supposed to gain an advantage from that ice, are you?
Well, you don't really gain the advantage totally, because they do have to bring it back and drop it again in your zone, and everybody does have to stay on the ice. That's one of the new rules the last few years.
The advantage is Stone gets a stick.
Yeah, that is the only advantage. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Bob, I asked you earlier about the balance of the Penguins lineup. Finally seeing everybody back. Well, what's it look like to you down there?
It looks like a machine that is just working, Staggy, the way it's supposed to. Working on, you know, all 8 cylinders, if you will. There's no hiccups right now in the Penguins lineup. You see, you know, easy changes. No confusion that way, because everybody, you know, mixing and matching lines. I just find that Malkin has a comfortability playing with Comeau. Comeau's a guy that can protect you too, if need be. Not that Malkin needs it. He can take care of himself. Comeau brings a little bit of everything. He's not just a goal scorer. He's not just a guy that's back checking. He's a guy that hits. A lot of hits, by the way. More than I think we knew when he was a member of Columbus. I don't know. I don't know how we were able to get this guy at that 750 number.
Here's Kunitz with it now. And he's just been used in a 3rd and 4th line role by previous coaches. Finally getting a chance to play with a world-class centerman in Malkin and taking full advantage of it.
You're right. I mean, he did score 24 as a member of the Islanders a few years back.
He's versatile. That's another thing about him. He can play either wing, which really helps. Penguins have so many right-hand shooting forwards, and he's comfortable playing on the off wing, as is David Perron. Here's Bortuzzo back to the net. It went off the leg of Sidney Crosby. Over to get it is Bobby Ryan deep in his own zone. And he was the consolation prize in the lottery, which involved Sidney Crosby back in 05. Shot wide of the net by Borowiecki. Bobby Ryan sends it back around near side. And Bortuzzo trying to get it out of his own zone. Worked it to center to Bo Bennett, who directed it into the middle, but right to Carlson.
You're not trying to fit guys into positions where they really don't belong either. You see, when you get those bodies back to your question, it's just the way it should be. Rights on rights, lefts on lefts, guys familiar with positioning, and Penguins up 2-0.
For you and your friends.
Well, with temps in the single digits and actually below tonight, skating conditions here in Ottawa are ideal. And if you don't believe me, just ask any one of those folks or the mayor of Ottawa, Jim Watson, who skated on the famous Rideau Canal earlier this week for the very first time, wearing the same Sens jersey that the Senators are wearing tonight. The mayor made a New Year's resolution to learn how to skate, and he showed off his skills on Monday. So, Staggy, you skated on that canal long before the mayor ever did.
Well, I wish I could skate any better than he does, but I'm probably in the same boat as him. Here's Paul Martin dumping it in. The Rideau Canal, part of a waterway that was actually created by the military during the War of 1812. So they could have a way to get to the Great Lakes without going down the St. Lawrence River where they were going to get shot at. And that's why that waterway is there, and it is one of the really great features of the city of Ottawa.
Maybe Dan Potash could get his New Year's resolution going. Learn how to skate. I gotta see Potash on skates.
Here's Bo Bennett on the right wing, and he'll dump it into the Senator zone of the corner and head over to the bench along with Nick Spaulding. The problem is that where we are right now is nowhere near the Rideau Canal, because we're out in Canada, Ontario, which is quite a drive actually from downtown Ottawa, though there's talk about another new arena here in Ottawa downtown. Here's Curtis Lazar with it now, the right wing. And that would be nice because we get to go back downtown where it's really nice to hang out at night before the games. And the market down there is really something special. We were here for the All-Star game, was it the draft rather, several years ago. Sidney Crosby was drafted right here in this city. Here's Cody Ceci with it. It's a great place in the summertime. Here are the Penguins on the attack, and the puck pushed wide of the net by Zach Sill. Taken now by Clark MacArthur, working in his own zone. Around now for Jared Cowan. And the big rangy defenseman moves it up the right wing and into the middle now for Lazar. Quick pass. Here's another pass in the skates of Cody Ceci. Not where it needed to be so he can make a play.
No, and Ceci was on his backhand, and you're not going to make a play unless it's perfect. For Ceci, Ottawa native, playing for the junior team and now the Senators.
The Penguins charity auction on Root Sports is coming up as Tuesday is the night, and we ask you to help support the Mario Lemieux and Penguins Foundations by purchasing a Pens charity prize bag filled with unique memorabilia, including 4 limited edition bobbleheads. Penguins charity auction on Root Sports starts Tuesday at 6 with a special 1-hour pregame. It's always a great night and a great time to display the generosity of Penguins fans, and a fantastic cause, of course. And the generosity has been astounding, really, over the years. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. We appreciate it. Here's Paul Martin stepping out of his own zone. Into the middle now for Chris Letang. Into the Senators zone. Letang offside of the Penguins, though.
Chris Letang joined another offensive effort there for Pittsburgh, and he had to get back into the play, Staggy, but you wonder why the Penguins have been so stout defensively over the last half dozen games, or even more. It's because they have guys back. They're reading for one another. It goes back to having guys in the right positions and familiarity and getting all the bodies back. That certainly helps that way too, but the Penguins are playing that winning brand of hockey, where you get out to a quick start and you insulate one another. And even guys like Crosby and Malkin, yeah, Crosby gets on the board tonight, but he went 2 games, as did Malkin, without even registering a point. So this is a team effort right now by Pittsburgh, and it doesn't matter how they're winning it, and it doesn't matter who scores the goals.
Which is exactly what the approach was for Jim Rutherford when he made all the deals in the offseason and continuing to make them during the season. Here's Kunitz with it now on the left wing, making it possible for the Penguins to be able to get offense from different places, not having to rely so much on their stars, especially at playoff time, and getting the kinds of players who can score goals in that crucible of the playoffs where it gets tough around the net. You've got to be able to get there to score. The Penguins have certainly been doing that lately, too. And they're going to do it even more now that Como and Hornquist and company are all together again for the first time in a long time. Here's Stone down the right wing against Scuderi. He just took it away and moved it up the wall. But it comes right to McCulloch, who dumps it back into the corner. Scuderi back to get it. Sent it around for Simon Desprez on his backhand. He tried to get it out. Bobby Ryan wouldn't let him do that. Ryan sent it down the wall. Physical battle there on the boards, and Desprez leveling a Senator on the near side to prevent him from controlling the puck.
And he just kind of elevated Zibanejad, who got just toppled by a stronger Simon Desprez in that particular moment, that battle.
Now Bennett pushes it to the side of the net. Leonard dishes it off for Carlson. And now to Zibanejad, and he comes to center. Very skilled player, Zibanejad. Number 93 of the Senators has 13 goals. He's 21 years old. Bobby Ryan moved in front. It came off a leg right to Greiss, and he's able to freeze. Well, the Penguins have had only one shot. We're almost past the halfway part of the second period. And the Senators have had two.
Thanks for joining us, Mike. Your team's got off to a strong start. Getting bodies back in the lineup, how's that helping you?
Well, it's helped a lot, especially last night. You saw that Malkin, Como, and Hornquist, they were a really good line for us. And I think so far in this game, I liked our start. Second period, we've got to get more pucks to the net. We've got to get more action in their zone. We had it in the first. We haven't had it so far in the second. And that's got to be our focus for the last half.
You're talking about getting pucks to the net. Your defense are really making a concerted effort, are they not? Trying to get pucks by that defender there?
Yeah, they've worked the blue line well. And it's a matter of just, you make one D-to-D pass, and then you've got to find the lane right away before they get in it.
Thanks, Mike.
Before they get in it. Those lanes are very clogged up in the National Hockey League, and it takes a special amount of teamwork and skill to get pucks through. Sometimes, Bob, you just have to shoot the puck wide of the net on purpose, don't you?
Yeah, I think Letang did that last night, did he not? On the Hornquist marker, went off that back wall, and Hornquist was there to chip it in. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get it blocked. You saw a couple of games back, the Penguins got a lot of shots blocked, and ever since then, they've made that concerted effort to get shots by, even if it's not on the net. You got the guys that are down near that net that are going to make an adjustment on that puck.
Blake Como in on the hunt for the puck right now. He's bumped by Ceci, who was drafted in Pittsburgh in 2012. One of several defensemen taken in the first round that year, including Ole Mata and Derek Pouliot. Here's Letang shooting off the stick, loose around the net, and taken now by the Senators. And good forechecking effort by Hornquist, prevented Cowan from getting out. Centered it, and it comes all the way through. Letang shot pass from Malkin. Malkin, an addition in front. Sends it up back to the point. Bertuzzo gloved it down, but now he has to retreat. He's got Bobby Ryan on him, and Bobby Ryan steals. Letang tries to cut him off, and he does, and he trips him. And there is going to be a penalty shot.
Now, Chris Letang tried to get back at their Bortuzzo, got caught up in the official and on his backhand there. And Ryan shields that puck. He keeps that puck way away on his left side of his body, away from Letang. So Letang had to take his feet out first. And one of the exciting moments in hockey, one of the most exciting, the penalty shot.
Bobby Ryan, very skilled player. He's got some great hands. Let's see how he does against Thomas Greiss. Trying to get some life in this building for the Senators. To the goal, Ryan! Stopped by Greiss. He went back to the forehand, and Greiss shut the door.
Wow. Thomas Greiss had to look at Boone Jenner in Columbus. Jenner scored his second penalty shot faced this year, and Greiss comes up large against Bobby Ryan, who's nifty with that stick, tried to go backhand, forehand, use that big frame. There's been 26 penalty shots in the NHL this year, only 8 goals. Greiss stops Ryan.
Ryan was looking for his 15th goal of the year.
As you mentioned, he had some back spasms. He missed the last game. Leading this Ottawa Senator team, and Ryan denied by Greiss.
Well, Letang really threw himself in front of Ryan there, and kind of dangerous play that he made to try to stop him from getting to the net. High shot by Greiba is corralled by Greiss, and he'll hold on to it. Letang lost his helmet in the process of trying to stop Bobby Ryan.
He really extended, tried to get the puck first. And here's one more look at the penalty shot. With the backhand, forehand move, and Greiss just trying to match his speed. You see the goaltender, he comes way out, and then he backs up trying to match the speed of the shooter. And Greiss did a really good job of it there.
Even if Letang had gotten stick on puck on that diving effort to stop Bobby Ryan, his cross-body block of him would have still been a tripping penalty.
Yes, that's the new rule that they put in this year. You're exactly right, Stegen.
Sometimes I'm right, Bob.
Well, Greiss was right there, wasn't he? The price was right. The Greiss was right against Ryan. And take one more look at the dive by Chris Letang here. Look at him protect the puck.
Well, he actually did get puck.
he tried to, but he got skate first, I think, and then puck, just a little bit of puck. It's interesting. He did get a bit of puck, but I think he got skate first, Staggy. The referee really took a long time, didn't he? He tried to replay it in his mind, exactly what happened before he made that call.
Here's Dupre with it. And he'll wheel it back in behind the net. Crosby lost it to MacArthur. And here comes Curtis Lazar back to center ice. Lazar is only 20 years old. A lot of good young players in this Senators organization. And we're having a tough year, but they could get it together quickly, I think, if they can make some good moves in the offseason. Brian Murray, their general manager. Puck is dumped into the Penguin zone. Scuderi got over there to just poke it right back to center. And Erik Karlsson back to Mathot. Karlsson looks at LaPierre, swings around him and Sill, and then shoots it up high off the shoulder to Greiss. He juggled it. He spins around and somehow finds the puck. Greiss has had some trouble with that puck bouncing off his equipment up over his shoulders and around his head where he can't find it. And he was fortunate that time to keep it in the goal crease.
And this is Karlsson. Really good shot there, and just whips it high up on Greiss off his helmet, reaches behind his back. That's exactly what he did in Philadelphia in a 4-on-3 situation. When he reached behind his back, you remember Giroux was able to put in the rebound and win a game for Pittsburgh there. He gets a little bit of help and is able to freeze the puck.
Yeah, in Vancouver the other night, he got a break and an early whistle and a puck that actually bounced and went over the goal line into the net.
Well, certainly the game is in the balance. Shots now 13-11. Penalty shot denied by Greiss, and another good chance there by Karlsson, and the face-off to the left of Thomas Greiss now.
Well, the Penguins being outshot 5-2 here in the second period, and hasn't been quite what the first period was. The Senators have a record of coming back in games. Here's Hoffman with it, shooting, and that's off a leg. If you look at their record when they allow the first goal or they're behind in the first, it's actually not that bad.
Still no penalties in the game. No penalty recorded for the penalty shot.
Now here's Pouliot moving all the way up to the corner to tap it behind the net for Sutter. Check there by Legwand. The puck squirts right out to where goaltender Leonard can freeze it. Take a look at the standings right now. The Senators are way out, 12 points out with 30 games to go, including this one. And the Penguins only need 2 points to move ahead of the New York Islanders. And the Florida Panthers are moving up. Only 4 points behind the Boston Bruins with 2 games in hand. And they could make a race out of it. Here's Dave Cameron, who actually played in the NHL for the Rockies and the Devils, which were the same franchise.
Letang jumping on the ice here for Pouliot as they want to match Letang with Ryan and Jabinadad.
Here's a lead pass. Karlsson in on goal. And his backhand shot, I think Greiss got his right pad out there to prevent him from really pulling the trigger. It's kind of like the pad got there first. To take a look at it, it could have rolled off his stick. Now here's Zibanejad with it, dumping into the corner.
Of the defenseman, Karlsson.
Yeah.
On the breakaway there. Absolutely incredible. And that little dish pass, he's able to join the rush. It's amazing. He's got 195 shots.
Malkin for Hornquist going to the net, and he just could not make it happen. Now here's Malkin again, shooting, he scores! Malkin goes upstairs on Leonard, and just like that, the Penguins lead 3-0.
Karlsson's still laying on the ice, tired. Well, he was on the offensive zone. Greiss able to make that stop on that bouncing puck, or the puck just shuffled off the stick of Karlsson and went wide. And then you saw, look at that play by Como. Has that ability to find Malkin, and Malkin goes upstairs to ring the register. Short side. What a beautiful shot that was, as he's kind of gliding backwards. The netminder trying to get his angle. Just a beautiful, beautiful shot up over that blocker.
That was outrageous.
That really was a fantastic shot. We saw Crosby with a slap shot beat the big netminder Leonard, and that one there. And I got to tell you, Blake Como, once again, to have that vision, Staggy, to be able to find Evgeny Malkin on the other side of the ice. And when you make that big east to west pass across the ice like that, it's tough for a goaltender to square up.
Dupre is battling there against Milan McCulloch, who's good on the wall. Dupre hung in there with him, and the Penguins able to work the puck back up into the Senators zone. What do you think of the fact that Como has looked so good so quickly, Bob, after missing 20 games?
I give Mike Kadar, strength and conditioning coach for the Penguins, a ton of credit. I mean, they get these guys prepared. The stuff that the Penguins have had to endure over the last couple of years, I hope they're getting paid well too, because the training staff of the Pittsburgh Penguins, they certainly have been taxed, and they've done a tremendous job.
Here's Karlsson closing in, takes the big windup. That allows Sill to take it away from him, but he does get it right back. And he finds Kyle Turris, who dumps it in behind the net for Eric Condra. Scuderi takes him against the glass. And stepping in to get the puck is Max Lapierre, but he tried to move it to Adams, and it was stolen away by MacArthur. Out now to Borowiecki, and he shoots it wide off a stick. And the Senators continue to battle for possession here, down 3-0 in the game. Karlsson back to the net. That's deflected away from the front of the goal. Back up the wall with 4:37 to go in the second period. One-timer by MacArthur, stopped by Grayson. He's able to find the rebound. Clark MacArthur with 9 goals, 25 points in 28 games against the Penguins. He always seems to score against Pittsburgh. How about Malkin? What a beautiful goal to make it 3-0. The Stars have come out to shine tonight, Bob.
In Canada's capital, Sidney Crosby with a rolling puck, just absolutely ripped it by the arm. And there is Evgeny Malkin, the second head of that two-headed monster, going over the blocker side of the 6'5" netminder. What a shot that was by Gino. 21 on the season, and look at the numbers. Wow.
Here's MacArthur with another shot. That off the stick of Martin. MacArthur got it back. Moves it out to Karlsson, who's been on the ice a lot. He shoots it wide of the goal. Around now from a thought. His slapper is blocked. And now battle for the puck. Paul Martin got body position on Condra, but he's able to get a stick on the puck. And now Martin takes it away for Sutter. He lifts it up now for Bennett, who taps it out the center for Spalling. And Spalling trying to one-hand it into the Senators zone, but they control it in their own end. Lead pass broken up again in the neutral zone. Spalling hooked up there by MacArthur. There'll be a penalty on Clark MacArthur for hooking Nick Spalling as he tried to carry the puck into the offensive zone.
Credit Spalling. How do you draw penalties? You get your feet moving. And Nick Spalling did
16 Ottawa, minor penalty holding.
Get your feet moving in that neutral zone. And when Spalling got that puck, his feet were moving. They're crossing over. And MacArthur's going the wrong way. Boy, Clark MacArthur has struggled. Hasn't scored in 10 games, the former Leaf. And the Penguins already up by 3. Go to the power play. And they really haven't generated a lot of shots in this period. You know, Ottawa's done a pretty good job. They don't score on the penalty shot. Karlsson can't stick a fork in it on a breakaway. And the Penguins, Malkin makes it 3-0, and that just deflates you.
Here's McCulloch with it. He'll bank it away to center ice. McCulloch is another guy who could draw interest at the trading deadline, even though he did sign that 3-year deal in the offseason with the Senators. All of a sudden, he's playing better, and teams might say, hey, we'd like to have him, and we'll give you something good for him for the future. Here's McCulloch with it at center, carrying into the Penguin zone. And his brother, Zbynek McCulloch, is also a unrestricted free agent. Well, he is one. McCulloch is no longer. He's signed. Now here's Perron into the Senator zone. He's bumped by Borowiecki, who lost his stick. And Letang has it now to Malkin. Malkin gliding against Condra. And just toying right now with the Senators in their end. Here's Letang with it again to David Perron on the power play. And Malkin centers. Crosby will work it now out of the corner.
Stone without a stick again.
Malkin brings it up high to Letang, back to Malkin. Letang on the UPMC Sports Medicine power play to Malkin. Oh, that shot blocked by Borowiecki. Now Crosby, bumped by Greiva. One hands the puck over to Perron, to Letang, drifting and shooting. And now we get a whistle, and there's going to be another penalty, a cross-checking call against Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby's going to get it.
Minor penalty, cross-check.
Yeah, a little bit of a retaliatory penalty there against Greiva. And the right call.
As Crosby goes to the box, we'll play a little 4-on-4. And Chris Letang, who's got a couple of points on the night, is now sitting atop with Giordano, 44 points apiece to lead all NHL defensemen in scoring.
Who would you say the three candidates are right now, Bob, in your mind for the Norris Trophy? You can think about it.
Yeah, well, I think Giordano and Weber for me, Staggy, right now would be.
I would have said the exact same thing. Here's Letang dumping it in.
Oh, look at it. That puck might go in. Boy, I don't know why Leonard played that with his head. He could have reached up and played the puck with his glove. Instead, with a floating puck, and he watched it come out of the stratosphere and hit him right on the noggin.
This is Hoffman with it. Dumps it into the corner. Hoffman gets only 14 minutes a game, and he's got 17 goals. Here's Kunitz now. He's a rookie. Here's a shot now. Como letting it go, and Leonard making the save. Como got it right back. His centering pass, though, broken up, and Ceci ahead now to Kyle Turris. 4-on-4 hockey at the moment. 2 seconds to go on the penalty to MacArthur, and then the Senators will have a power play. Crosby in the box for another minute 8. And the Penguins just dump the puck down the ice to kill some time here. A minute 45 to go in the period.
And 58 in the penalty to Crosby.
MacArthur takes the pass. Legwand turns it over. Dupre trying to get it out. Can't do so. MacArthur to Legwand. Banks it away now to Zibanejad. Back to Legwand. He's centered in and off the leg of Adams to the corner. Now it's taken by Zibanejad to MacArthur. His shot, and that's stopped by Greiss. And Dupre trying his darndest to get to the puck in the corner. He took his man out, but he fell down. Now it's Carlson with it at the point to Zibanejad to MacArthur. MacArthur with traffic in front, just missed the net. And then Carlson came out of nowhere to shoot the puck, and it was blocked.
Yes, Adams got his stick in there, Staggy. Coming down, following Carlson down low. Great play by Adams.
And now the Senators keep it alive here on the power play. 2 seconds ago on the penalty. Carlson shot past, but Adams read that also.
I tell you, what a warrior. Adams, they killed the penalty, but Adams had to follow, track Carlson down. And Leonard, I don't know what Leonard was doing. And when a puck was floated in, I thought he was just going to reach up in the air with his hand. Instead, he plays his puck with his head. And if he doesn't play it, that puck's going to go in. That puck is going to drop below the crossbar. He could have easily, I don't know why he just didn't, like a center fielder, play it with his glove. I just don't get it. Somebody's got to explain it to me.
He must be a soccer player who really has confidence in being able to head the ball and also the puck. From Sweden, here's Ceci with it. He'll dump it in behind. Taken down by Letang on his backhand, and he uses the glass, but it skips out of play. 35.5 seconds to go in the period, and the Penguins leading 3-0. They've killed the penalty. Thomas Greiss making a couple of good saves.
A couple of power plays each way in the first 2 of the hockey game, the only 2. Shots are low, 17-15 in favor of Pittsburgh.
Turris against Sutter. Spalling able to get it out, and it sails into the Penguins bench. By the way, the Penguins with their win over Detroit last night, now 13-2-3 against the Atlantic Division, and they're looking to add to that here tonight. Turris and Sutter again.
Turris had a great year last year. He's struggling a little bit this year. Centerman here for the Ottawa Senators.
Sutter battles against Turris, but he won the draw to Ceci, a drive who he just missed. 20 seconds to go in the period. Puck swerves free to the corner. McCulloch very physical again, that time on Bo Bennett. And it's Turris now on his backhand, steps out. Nice sweep check there by Paul Martin. Just knocked it right to the corner, and the Penguins able to get it to center, and Sutter with it. And there's 2 seconds to go in the period. Sutter pulls up as time expires. Well, the Penguins in that period with only 6 shots on goal And the Senators had 9, and the Penguins scored with Evgeny Malkin getting the lone goal, Bob.
Yeah, and they withstood a penalty shot, a breakaway. And on the second game of a back-to-back situation, they're in a great spot to win this one.
On a very snowy night in Ottawa, let's go to Robin Jay.
At the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa, goals from Letang, Crosby, and Malkin. If you're just joining us, here's what you missed, presented by your Western PA Honda dealers.
Chris Letang brings it right towards the net, tries to stuff it in, and he does! Chris Letang scores on the backhand. Here's Crosby after the puck coming in, shooting, he scores! Bobby Ryan, very skilled player. He's got some great hands. Let's see how he does against Thomas Greiss. Trying to get some life in this building for the Senators. To the goal, Ryan! Stopped by Greiss. Now here's Malkin again, shooting, he scores! Malkin goes upstairs on Leonard, and just like that, the Penguins lead 3-0. And that's where we sit, Bob. A 3-goal lead after 40 minutes of play.
Yeah, Penguins got to feel comfortable. They earned it. They really did. Thomas Greiss has been fortunate in the hockey game. He's been a little lucky as well. He stopped the penalty shot from Bobby Ryan. And, you know, last year I remember a real decent play when Marc-Andre Fleury was performed a little thievery here behind his back, using that trapper as he felt that puck come off his shoulder. And same thing tonight. Puck came around him. Greiss was able to not grab it in the trapper, but at least freeze it underneath him. And you look at all the white bodies in that blue paint to help Thomas Greiss. They want to get him the victory. And Marc-Andre Fleury on the right, he's been exceptional. Has he not in his last 5 hockey games, Staggy? What about that shutout streak for Marc-Andre Fleury? For the Flower, 165 minutes and 6 seconds. Stephen Weiss finally beat him on a power play, but he's 4-1 in his last 5 starts as the Flower. And Thomas Greiss got something going here.
Penguins playing the 6th game in a stretch of 7 out of 9 on the road. And of course that last game of that stretch will be Sunday afternoon in Chicago, where the Penguins will travel to tomorrow. And from the draw, the Penguins in their own zone. A shot off a leg and goes all the way back up into the Senators' end of the rink, where Erik Karlsson will take it for Ottawa. Up the wall now for Chiasson. And he's able to dump the puck to the corner. Letang and Martin both go back for it. Martin moves it along for Letang. He angled one, but it's picked off by Karlsson. Karlsson hanging on to it. Didn't shoot it and ends up not getting a shot. Now he centers it, and it comes to the near wing where it's going to be taken by Chris Letang. And ahead now on the right side of Perron. He's got Crosby with him. Shoots at the save made by Leonard. He didn't decide to shoot until the last possible second, and he never looked at the net until he finally pulled the trigger. Now here's Mathod with it. He loses it. And Letang able to lift the puck back up into Ottawa territory.
No, Perron, he's got that shooting percentage just over 13%. So and the 2-on-1, the percentage will be a little bit better than that, Staggy. You're not used to having the puck on Perron's stick for that long.
Robert Bortuzzo back to the puck, crashing in there. Pouliot follows on to Bob MacArthur, who kicked it loose. And now Pouliot able to get to it. And Derek Pouliot is skying one, glove down by Spalling. And taking now by Eric Gryba, who pulls away from Spalling and looks up. And his pass not there for Condra, and the Penguins end up getting it back. Another example of a pass not connecting for the Senators. Here's Malkin taking off. Looks to the left side for Como, and offside is Como on himself as he entered the Senators zone.
I love the way Malkin came back there all the way to get a puck from his defenseman. And Chris Letang, a +5 in his last 2 hockey games. A +5, he's a +8 now on the season as he exits this puck out of the zone, setting up that 2-on-1. He's tied 44 points. NHL scoring leader amongst defensemen. He's on his way.
He's got 20 assists in his last 17 hockey games. Now Hornquist over to the puck. Sends it back around near corner. Shot by Malkin is blocked. And Jared Cowan hounded as he came through center. by Blake Como, who then turned it back to center ice, and the Senators, Bobby Ryan carries it in, or Ceci rather, carrying it in, and it's offside.
Yeah, Blake Como on that back check there, that stick going mile a minute. Chop, 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 whack, whack, whack as he got on his horse. And he want to keep his shifts very short, as will all the Penguins right now. The 6th period and 2 nights here for Pittsburgh. And to get all the bodies, you're going to see a lot of the 4th line, as much as the 4th line here as you will the 1st line, especially in a 3-0 game.
Senators, Jared Cowan with it. Hoffman, Legwand, and Neal, the threesome for the Senators. As the puck is dumped in, Neal is tripped by Adams. And that'll be a penalty on Craig Adams for tripping Chris Neal. So the Penguins are going to be shorthanded as their 4th line was on the ice. And Adams, who did such a great job killing the penalty earlier, will not be available to do that this time.
He doesn't like the call right now. He's going to the box.
27, trip.
Yeah, caught over on the left side, did Adams here. It's offside with a little bit of a whack down, and yeah, he just caught the right skate of Neal, the laces, and Neal lost his footing.
3-1 Pittsburgh. The Senators, if they can get a goal, will get some life. And then if they get some life, who knows? They may turn this into a hockey game. They weren't all that bad in the 2nd period. They just couldn't score. Senators are 4-13-2 when they trail after 2. So they have been able to come back to get points on 6 occasions. They're on the power play down. A shot down low and a save made by Greiss with the left pad. This is the Legwand with it now. Works it down low. And a centering pass by McCulloch. And poked away from Stone by Sutter back into the Senators zone. Mark Stone, the guy who had that one-timer earlier, stopped by Greiss.
Letang out here killing a penalty. Carlson on the ice for the power play for the Sens.
Shot right on by McCulloch is stopped by Greiss.
When you talk about defensemen, how valuable they are, and the different. Look at Letang. Not as many power play minutes, way more penalty killing minutes, more hits than Carlson and more blocks. To me, doing a little bit more, maybe a lot more, some would say, this season, taking nothing away from Erik Karlsson, who's such a treat to watch offensively. But Letang this year has upped the ante. He's upped the ante, and he's been as good as anybody out there.
Karlsson moves it into the middle. And having trouble with it, Turris, but he's able to maintain possession. To Legwand, now to Karlsson, back across Turris. Couldn't shoot a one-timer, and falling down is Legwand, but he got the puck to Karlsson, and his centering pass was broken up by Sill, and now it's cleared by Lapierre.
Well, you had 2 forwards out there on the point. As Karlsson had moved down, you had Legwand and you had Turris, and Legwand, well, lost his footing. It didn't look good.
They were stumbling like the prime ministers between periods. Here's Karlsson with a shot gloved down by Greiss. Another chance. And that's stopped by Greiss with the left pad.
Oh, he's all limbs. Caught one with the arm and one with the leg.
One-timer Ryan, and that one's wide. Ryan gets the rebound off the end boards. Works it into the corner to Zibanejad. And up top now, a diving attempt by Karlsson is futile. To make that Hoffman rather diving, and Karlsson to go back for the puck in his own zone.
Gary Agnew barking out the players to go on the ice here for the change, and everybody attentive on the bench.
Good shot by Ryan that time as he did a little toe drag move, and Greiss just hung on his ankle and made the save and hung on to it for a face-off.
Well, Gary Agnew is very vocal right now. Now he's telling Letang what he wants from the bench. He was able to grab Letang's attention and yell something. And you see the way Greiss is able to track that long pass. And Gary Agnew very vocal, Staggy, in terms of what he wanted, barking orders and changing players at the same time.
Well, they're getting that guy open for the one-timers. We saw Ryan, Turris, and Stone all get pretty good shots away on that left side.
Yeah, with that pass through the seam there, that's something you do not want to give up if you're penalty kills. That really hurt the Penguins early in the season.
Here's Turris with a drive, and that one missed the goal and off the glass. The Senators keep it alive. Karlsson again pressured, but it comes to Turris. He fans on the shot. Lapierre with a penalty over. Adams comes on, and he goes right to the bench. But the Penguins lose control of the puck, and another penalty coming up.
Yeah, Letang.
And Letang knocks down Stone, who had lost his stick. Well, he has his stick. And he got knocked down into the corner, and that's the guy that Letang took the penalty against, too. So off he goes.
And he should just go to the box here right now. He was going to the players bench, and the puck came around the boards, and Letang got caught flat-footed. He wanted to make a change. He got caught flat-footed, and see the stick between the legs? He dropped his stick. As he knew it was between the legs, he's arguing. He said, listen, I know it was there. I didn't want to take a penalty, so I just dropped my stick. That's what he was explaining to the referee, but the arm was already up.
Just one of those things. Here's Ceci moving it left side. Shot down low again. Stopped by Brian Grice. Bobby Ryan with a chance that time, and Ryan again on that left side. Boy, they are just getting that guy open over there on that left side, but Grice has been ready for it every time. Here's Sutter backhanding it, trying to get it out. Now in behind the goal.
Always a good time to score a shorthanded goal here. The power play's been out here a little, the second one, a little bit tired, losing their focus. Don't be surprised the Penguins turn one the other way if they get a chance.
Ryan with it. Spalling and Sutter, Bortuzzo and Skinner for the Penguins. Zibanejad turns, and a nifty goal there by Zibanejad gives the Senators their first goal of the game. The power play goal makes it 3-1.
Well, and anybody who watches Bobby Ryan on a daily basis realizes he's got that move, and Zibanejad has learned from his line mate. You learn from great players in practice, and when the puck goes down to the goal line, you watch Zibanejad take it on his forehand, spin around, and then flick it in past the netminder. I originally thought it went over the right pad. It might have went 5-hole on Grice as he went down, missing it with the stick. You see Zibanejad turn, and it goes just underneath his stick and between his legs. Nonetheless, Staggy, a nifty move. Something you would see from Ryan down on that goal line. Zibanejad, the 21-year-old, performs that feat.
14th goal of the season for Mika Zibanejad. An excellent comparison there, Bob.
Well, you learn. I mean, you learn from great players in practice. The Penguins, guys acquire skills, and, just from watching Malkin and Crosby, we got the chance to watch Lemieux every day. You just learn stuff if you're smart.
Condra couldn't take the pass. Now he has trouble with it again at the blue line.
Well, it's 3-1. There's a lot of time left in this hockey game. The Penguins are just going to have to keep battling here.
Turris with it. He'll dump it into the corner. Well, there's a fine line between protecting a lead and sort of nursing it, knowing you have command of the hockey game, and sitting back too much. And now it's frozen by Leonard, and he will stop play.
Well, you want to stay out of the box, too. The back-to-back penalties hurt the Penguins there. You can feel it in the building. The crowd's into it here. You can see the Ottawa bench. They get a little bit of life from that goal by Zibanejad, the 21-year-old Staggy on that power play. So Ottawa's got a fighting chance here. They played a good second period, weren't rewarded. A good start here to the third period. Pittsburgh has just got to fight through it. They got to use all four lines. It was a tough back-to-back penalty kill for them there. Nonetheless, you get back on your horse, you do the things, get the pucks deep, get a little more offensive zone time. You talked about that balance between sitting back too much and just, trying to win this hockey game. They got to up the ante for the next 5 minutes here, turn the momentum their way.
Penguins have only one shot here in the third period. We saw it last night with the Red Wings pouring it on a bit in the third. It's not unusual when you have a commanding lead to give up a lot of shots in the third period. You're kind of sitting back. That's the way it goes. But sometimes you can be playing with fire as the puck goes out of play over there on the far side. You got to be careful not to sit back too much. Relive a memorable game from the Pirates 2014 season Monday nights on Pirates Playback. The series continues as Josh Harrison once again shines with some sparkling defensive plays and a clutch late inning triple to help out the Pirates over the Reds. Guns back on August 29th. You can see this unforgettable game on Pirates Playback Monday at 7 on Root Sports.
I like the quick change here by Mike Johnson. You talk about getting teams out of their rhythm. You can sense Ottawa's gained a little hop here, a little step, a little bit of rhythm. There's Bennett. He goes back for a stick. There was a puck into the bench, a quick change. He can go right back with a Malkin unit if you wanted to, Mike Johnson. But you do what you can as a coach to get the other team out of their rhythm. And Mike Johnson, he's coached a long time. Not in the National Hockey League, but in every other league, Staggy, and he knows the tricks of the trade.
Bobby Ryan on the far side again. Zibanejad hit hard by Dupre, and he pried the puck free by doing that, and the Penguins push it back up into the Senators zone.
And right away, Martin and Letang come on the ice to go against the Ryan unit. Look out.
Right loose in front, and a scramble in front of the Penguins. Can't drive it home, and now Letang fakes it and fires. And a glove save made by Leonard there on Letang, and he made it look easy. That was a heck of a slap shot by Letang there.
Now we talked about getting the puck deep, getting in on the forecheck, getting a little aggressive here, and not sitting back. There is a good hit, separating man from puck, and then Bo Bennett wrong once, maybe twice by Leonard. But what a play by Spalling to get on the man, first with the body, separate the puck, and make the play all in one.
With Bennett right there on the doorstep again. That's where you score goals. He just couldn't finish, but a couple of good opportunities. And the Penguins stressing that with all the forwards to get to that dirty area, or the red zone, as Jim Rutherford calls it. And the blue paint.
The red zone's blue.
It is. And now here's Condra dropping it off. Borowiecki shoots it off a stick into the netting behind Thomas Greiss.
Oh boy, and I got a good line of that, and thankfully they have netting up now. And what did you do without it? And the fans behind, they were reacting like it wasn't going to hit that netting, Staggy. The puck's going 100 miles an hour. You can't protect yourself. And now we don't even notice it, do we?
You really don't. I'll tell you, back in the old days, like at Maple Leaf Gardens, wow, I mean, there was a balcony right behind the net that was just kind of hanging there. I mean, it was a shooting gallery back there, even back then.
In Toronto, in Boston, I remember going into those buildings. Those poor folks there. But it was a great see.
Well, there was a time when there wasn't even glass on the side of the rink in the NHL. And they used to use chicken wire in minor league facilities. Here's Chiasson to the goal. A save made by Greiss on Chiasson. That was a great opportunity to make it 3-2.
What speed?
Remember that save by Greiss. That's a huge save right there. Here's Como. Como closing in. The Malkin a drive, and a good defensive play there by Curtis Lazar.
Really was.
And the Senators are really playing now with some desire. And if they get the next goal, look out. There's still a lot of time left in this game. That was a key save by Thomas Greiss. One you have to have in a situation like this, with the Senators putting on a surge. A hand pass in the neutral zone.
Well, they are coming. And Thomas Greiss with another 10-bell save here in this hockey game. MacArthur. And that save on Chiasson right there. Really good save. As Greiss doesn't overreact. I think that calm that you talk about, when you talk about Thomas Greiss, you see the calm right there as he just kind of moves from left to right, but not getting outside the frame of the net.
Tough stretch for Chiasson. He hasn't been able to score.
No, nor is MacArthur, the man who set him up, Staggy. You know, that line, they got to get scoring if they're going to make any kind of charge here in the latter part of this season.
Both of them are considered top 6 forwards. They just haven't been able to produce like that. And as a result, they're pretty much playing on the 4th line with Curtis Lazar. Although the Senators' lines can become interchangeable depending on who's playing well on a given night. Here's Turris into the Penguin zone. It's challenged there by Scuderi. It comes free, and it's going to be cleared by Sill. And that's an icing infraction against Pittsburgh. 11:10 to go in the hockey game, or in the 3rd period anyway.
And Staggy, I really contend that Ottawa's playing better now that the fact they're not really trying to match lines. They tried to do that so much in the start of the hockey game. Before you know it, it was 2-0 Pittsburgh. Then, in the 2nd period, they went out and played. In the 3rd period now, they're out and playing. He's putting out the guys, they're putting out the guys on the ice that they want to, whether it's their offensive coach or the defensive coach. So they're not trying to match against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will continue to match against Ottawa.
And Lapierre's line on now. They won the draw, and Lapierre, of course, a key guy for faceoffs for the Penguins. And the Penguins won the draw, but then they iced the puck as Dupre shot it too hard again. So Lapierre will have to win another one.
Dave Cameron really very vocal with his team. He was vocal early in the game with the officials. In Ottawa, they're really mounting a charge right now. They sense a confidence. They feel it.
From the draw, Ryan with it. Moves it back to the point, and Carlson. To Hoffman, to Ryan, to Hoffman. The shot. He scores! Wow! So now I understand why Mr. Hoffman is lighting it up here in Ottawa. What a release. That looked like a James Neal goal.
And what about the passing, Staggy? Watch this passing off the faceoff. 1 pass, 2, 3, before, and in the net. I mean, it was absolutely something you draw up on a dry erase board. The way they orchestrated that was beautiful, and for Hoffman, it's incredible the amount of goals she scored. 18 goals, all even strength, on a perfectly orchestrated face-off goal.
Now here's the lead pass. Zibanejad trying to come to the goal, but the Penguins defend that. And it is Brandon Sutter carrying back to center for the Penguins into the Senators zone. Sutter bearing down as he centered it. Now Bo Bennett to the corner. Boy, you look back at Bo Bennett's failure to score on the doorstep there with a couple of big saves by Leonard. And the Penguins would have made it 4-0 at that, 4-1 anyway at that point. It would have been a huge goal. And now here are the Senators back to within one with plenty of time to go, and they've got the momentum in the game.
Well, they do, and they didn't play last night. Penguins are hanging on right now. There's no question about it.
Paul Martin carries to center ice. Martin is tripped up a bit in the neutral zone, but the Penguins continue to control. Crosby with it. Crosby looking back. Wants to take the game back if he can. Here's Pouliot closing in. He shoots one down low, and the save by Leonard. And no rebound available for David Perron, who's right there at the edge of the crease again for the Penguins. There's the man, Hoffman. We'll show you some numbers on him when we get a chance. This guy gets the least amount of ice time of all the top scoring rookies in the league. He does not have any power play points because he doesn't even play on the power play. And he's got 18 goals for the Senators. And look, he's got more points than any other player who doesn't also have a power play point in the NHL. We're not just talking about rookies in that category. So he's really been productive, and he's got some good numbers in that regard too, Bob.
Yeah, he does. He's got 22 points on the season, one power play goal, or sorry, one power play assist. So he didn't make that board, Staggy. Remember, he hasn't played. He missed 20 games, Como, and he's still got the 22 points, one power play assist, no power play goals out of the dozen goals that Blake Como has on the season. So,
and I think I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up what you did back in the day for the Pittsburgh Penguins when you did not get a chance to play on the power play with all those prolific scores you guys had. What did you do?
That was 88-89, playing with Rod Brown, and
you had 26
that year.
26. Did you have any shorties that year, or were they all even strength goals?
I must have one or two shorties. I must have got out of for shorthanded, but yeah, boy, you talk about the amount of offensive power he had on that team. No room for me on that one.
Here's a shot by Mathot, actually just dumping it to the corner after it is Stone. Stone is a 6th-round draft pick. Hoffman, who we just showed you on the screen, is a 5th-round pick. Two really good young players for the Senators. Here goes Malkin the other way. Sometimes you got to find guys lower in the draft. Here's Malkin shooting, and the save made by Leonard. And Dupre works it back in behind the goal for Como. Como from Malkin, trying to shield the defender, and he couldn't do that. Good work by Mathot. He's a very physical defenseman. And now this is Turris into the Penguin zone. Senators down by 1. Carlson. Oh boy. A little curl and drag move. A really kind of a finesse play there by Carlson, and he missed the net. Now Mathot to the right side of Carlson.
You talking about Mathot. He's the big boy. He's the man who hit Crosby. Crosby went into Dupuis with that ACL injury Pascal Dupuis suffered, Staggy, and he was really battling Malkin.
Here's a shot block. Bobby Ryan goes to work behind the net, and Paul Martin with it. Dupuis, another guy, by the way, who has benefited, at even strength, but not necessarily from being on the power play in his career.
Yeah, he had 25 even strength goals for the Penguins recently. I hope he's doing well, and I really want to see him back.
Here's Hoffman again. He tried to drop it to Ryan. Good read on that by Letang, and Bennett able to poke it back to center ice.
You know, Duper would love to be in this game tonight, Steggy.
Absolutely. Here's Paul Martin with it, and we'd love to see him. It's just we're all crossing our fingers and hope that Pascal Dupuis will be able to play again. 8 minutes remaining in this third period. The Penguins hanging on to a 3-2 lead against the Senators.
The Senators getting a little chippy right now. Hoffman into the face of Letang on that last shift.
Here's Perron in over the line. Stick handling. Left it there for Crosby. Now to Pouliot. Now Perron protecting the puck against Greiba. Works in down below the goal line. Battle on the wall here. Kunitz got a stick on it. Crosby there. Finally, it's forced back into the Penguin zone. Derek Pouliot goes back to get it. It's a quiet building at the moment, even though the Senators are made it a hockey game.
Maybe a nervous building.
Yeah. There's Leonard with it now, and another pass doesn't connect. Condor couldn't take the pass. That's got to drive you crazy. That looked like a perfectly clean break out there, and Condor just unable to receive an easy pass. There's another pass for Condor that doesn't connect. Now Condor handles the puck. He makes one to Ceci. Ceci trying to step around Pouliot, and he works it to the corner. Chris Neal is hit hard by Lapierre. He looks over his shoulder at him. Somebody's lost a glove down there. I think it's Bortuzzo. He's trying to pick it up. And finally it's taken by Pouliot, and he's able to patiently move it off the wall and back up into the Senator zone, but it's going to be an icing call against Derek Pouliot and the Penguins. Time to take a look at our Subway sandwich of the game, Bob.
And here it is. Zibanejad. Simon Dupre. Hello.
Dupre goes down a lot. Not all the time, but he has a tendency to go down when he makes a hit. And I guess hitting is kind of a new thing for him. I mean, he's never noted as a really physical player like he's been this year for the Penguins.
Big time hitter. He's got 4 in this game. That shot from Hoffman. There you see Hoffman dangerous again, Staggy. Off a face-off, a tired group of Penguins after the ice by Pouliot. And they almost score or get a good opportunity on another face-off. He made it 3-2 on that beautiful Hoffman face-off goal. And there's a different look. Another different face-off look for the Ottawa Senators.
Hoffman didn't even get drafted into the OHL. He ended up going to the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League to play because nobody wanted him in the OHL. And everywhere he's been, he's kind of become a quick study. It takes him a little while to adjust, and then all of a sudden, he's putting numbers up, like he's doing for the Senators this year. He almost scored again. Now here's Carlson with it, moving it back to Methot. 6:26 to go in the third period. MacArthur fighting his way to the puck to squirt free, and shot by Lazar is kicked away by Greiss. Methot dumps it to the corner. It goes past Letang to Martin. There's Lazar again, a physical hockey player, Curtis Lazar.
Well, they've got on the forecheck, Ottawa. I mean, they're getting on the forecheck and at least getting battles down low against Pittsburgh.
Here comes Letang to center. His pass for Hornqvist went behind him and offside against the Penguins.
Tried to make a play up the middle of the ice to Hornqvist to Letang. Puck could have went deep there. Another quick shift by Mike Johnson. Off the Hoffman shot, change. Off the offside, change. You don't wait. If you're 30 seconds into a shift, the average shift's about 42 seconds. If you're 30 in, it's an offside. You don't keep that line out there. No way in a 3-2 game in the third period you keep that line out there. You don't know when the next whistle's going to be. It could turn into a 90-second shift.
Bo Bennett flicks the puck out to center ice. Spalling able to get to it. Out here with Sutter and Bennett. Spalling is hit by Borowiecki. Kyle Turris working deep in his own zone. Sutter fell down, but he ends up getting up with the puck. Moves it out to the point, but Scuderi not there to get it. And he'll go back into his own zone. And Simon Dupre on his horse getting back to help out Scuderi. Skates all the way to the corner for the puck. Moves it up the wing, but Turris read that play. He got over and broke it up for McCulloch. But now Bennett steps in the way of a pass from Turris and clears it down the ice. And Borowiecki goes back to get it. No icing. The Penguins able to make a full change. And then 5:20 to go in the third period. Shots are 13-7 in favor of the Senators here in the third. And a lead pass right on the stick of Kunitz. And Kunitz shoots it. And Leonard does the where it is, and the Penguins score. Crosby, he found it first, and he makes it 4-2. Another 2-goal game for Sid on the road.
What a turnover. Ceci put it right onto the tape of Kunitz. Well, Ceci didn't see very well there. And there is the pass, the turnover, and talk about not seeing. Leonard can't see anything, Staggy, and the puck is sitting right down there between his legs. You shoot the puck, it drops down between his legs. He's looking up, and he should have looked down. And I always wonder why a goaltender, he knows he makes a save, he's looking for the puck. I would at least be tight. I would close my legs or put my stick down in that kind of situation. Especially if I see Crosby going in there with that stick, and Crosby saw the puck all the way. And for all intents and purposes, that might be the one.
Cody Ceci, a 21-year-old defenseman. He was scratched from the game against Buffalo the other night. And of course, they made a big deal out of that. First-round draft choice. Here's Methot with it. Still learning in the National Hockey League. Not easy to step right in. Not everybody's all about here. And now we got Bortuzzo tangled up with Neal, who grabs Kunitz. And now he jumps Kunitz a little bit after Kunitz took a shot at him. He kind of grabbed it from behind. Nothing major there, but they continue to battle. Kunitz and Neal.
We'll see who all gets involved here.
Kunitz is still under siege here. The linesman and one of the referees trying to separate them.
Condor's getting into it right now with Perron. He's trying to get his helmet off here. Perron battling back now. Moffat staying out of the way here as he was held back by the referee. The referee's still looking at him.
Kunitz took one last little shot at Neal as they were stepping away from the boards, and Neal took exception to that and grabbed him, and then this started.
No, not Kunitz. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. When all looked over and done, he wanted to get that last, last shot in there. And we'll see what the referees come up with 4:39 left on the clock. You certainly don't want to put yourself down in this situation and give the officials the chance to do that for you. Take a look to the left side of your screen. There's a hit by Neal. And Bortuzzo came over. He took exception. He got into the face of Neal, and then Kunitz got in there. He's going to get one last shot right there. And Neal didn't like it, and that kind of opened the can of worms again. Just that last little shot. And Neal is being escorted off. There he goes.
Well, we've seen a lot of him over the years. Chris Neal in this playoff series against the Penguins. It'll be interesting to see what his future holds, because there's been talk about him maybe going to another team to help somebody in the playoff run. And one of the teams I heard mentioned today, the Blackhawks, but I'm sure a lot of teams would love to have a guy like him on their fourth line in the playoffs. And the way he goes to the locker room.
Yeah. 2,200 and now 81 penalty minutes for Mr. Neal in his career. 892 games, I believe it is. 892. A lot of talk right now. Carlson, Crosby, the two captains, they're allowed to talk to the official legally when you have that letter on your jersey. The alternate or the captain are supposed to be the only players that really are allowed to talk to the officials.
10-minute misconducts to Neal and Kunitz. 4:39 to go in the third period. That goal by Crosby, huge. As Robin Leonard laid an egg.
Well, the Penguins are really taking advantage of their opportunities in this game. They really have. Timely goals, timely saves.
When Mike Johnson talked about Thomas Greiss, said he needs to make practices his games. And they need to, you feel that he needs to improve his practice habits to try to duplicate game conditions as much as possible. We got a discussion here. Now Bortuzzo is going to come on. Well, who's on the ice here?
It was an icing call, so the officials come over and said to Mike Johnson, there's been an icing call, so Perron's got to go on, Crosby's got to go on. All the players that were in that scuffle, other than the ones that were penalized or thrown out of the hockey game, have to go back on the ice. So you won't have Kunitz, you won't have Neal. Or sorry, Neal didn't have to be. Kunitz has to be because of the icing, right. But he was penalized, so he's gone.
Carlson's shot is blocked. Crosby moves it out to center. 4.5 minutes to go. Moffat dumps it in. Scuderi trying to corral it. When it comes to Turris, his quick shot is stopped by Greiss. Perron's lead pass for Spalling. But Turris in the middle sends his line mate the other way. Stone. But then it's taken by Carlson, and he's having trouble handling the puck now. He shoots it to the net and is blocked on the way there. Turris in front now for Stone. He scores to make it 4-3. So the rookies of the Senators coming up large. And still a lot of time left.
Rob Scuderi gets taken down in this sequence, and the big Stone gets his 13th of the season. As the puck goes into the corner, look, he's interfered with. Puck not around him at all. And then Stone's able to take that pass. So he knocks down Scuderi, and then he takes a pass from behind the goal line with McCulloch in front providing the screen. and still a lot of time left. 4:09 in the hockey game, a 1-goal cushion.
Mark Stone scoring his 13th goal of the season. And now here's Turris coming to the goal against Grace. He scores.
Well, there was space up the middle. And the Ottawa Senators have been pushing it all third period. And for most of the second, they find a gap. There wasn't much there. Kyle Turris did an excellent job navigating through what looked like a 1-2-2 and is able to split Letang, split Martin, and go in on the backhand 5-hole on Thomas Grayson. Just like that, Staggy, we're tied at 4.
Was that Greiba who made that pass to him? That was a beautiful pass right on the tape for Turris. And now here's Letang behind the goal. The Penguins find themselves in a 4-4 game as they've imploded here in the third period. And the Senators just weren't giving up. And I told you they'd had 4 wins and a couple of overtime losses when they trailed going to the third period this year.
Well, 2 goals in 13 seconds, and it was Greiba making that pass to Kyle Turris. That's loud here now.
And Tang goes back for the puck.
And those were 10-minute penalties to Neal and Kunitz, so we go to overtime. We don't have any Kunitz left. I don't know the exact time of those penalties, but I think it was under the 5-minute mark, and I don't think we're going to see any more Kunitz.
See if the Penguins try to get it back. They just haven't played with the same fire offensively in this game. They've been sitting back and allowing the Senators to take the play to them. In the third period, Crosby got a gift when that puck was lost at the pads of Robin Leonard and was able to score to make it a 2-goal game. But the Senators bounced right back with 2 goals in 13 seconds to tie it at 4. And they've outshot the Penguins now 31-25 on the game.
Yeah. And that Kunitz penalty was at 15-21, so you won't see Kunitz back in the hockey game even if you go to the 5-minute overtime.
Senators have 16 shots here in the third period. Malkin getting in after it.
What were the shots the other night? 21-4. Buffalo. That was Buffalo against Ottawa.
Yeah, in the second period. Wow. It happens, but the Penguins will not be happy with the way this thing has unfolded. Here's Como with it, leaving it for Malkin. The Penguins were the dominant team in the first period. Senators came back and made it a pretty good second period, and they have taken control of the hockey game.
Well, look at it.
Here in the third, and now another hit. Malkin knocking down Milan McCulloch. The fans wanted a penalty, nothing called. And look at Carlson swinging around Como, who broke his stick.
Yeah.
And it goes ahead to Turris. Stone goes to the net. Turris' shot to the corner. Now Letang knocks it to the corner, and in to get it goes Turris up the wall. Borowiecki dumps it to the corner for Turris. Milan McCulloch right in front of the net. Paul Martin stays with him. Letang went down. Turris looks for McCulloch. Martin bumping him from behind. Now Letang on his horse, can't get there first. He comes out to Ceci, a drive, deflected on goal, and a save made by Greiss. Boy, that one almost went in too, but Greiss was solid there to make the save and prevent the Senators from taking the lead with 1:19 to go.
Well, still a chance for Pittsburgh. They were fortunate they didn't take a penalty on that last shift. Malkin or Como. And Greiss is able to hold the fort here as the puck goes through Martin. Martin decided not to try to deflect that. There's no call there on McCulloch as he took down Malkin there with that check, and Malkin went back at McCulloch, and the referee just looked the other way. That's a definite interference. The first one, borderline interference, and the Penguins, they're not giving up anything so far in the hockey game. If they give up 1 point to the Ottawa Senators, that's not a big deal. I'd still like to get the 2, obviously.
Shot by Carlson, and that's deflected just wide.
Wow, still Carlson just moves laterally along that blue line, Staggy, to create that opening.
Yeah, really, I think the result of this is more about the optics of the game here in the third period. Here's Bobby Ryan with it now to the corner for Zibanejad. Scuderi in there to take it away, moves it up the right wing to Craig Adams. And Adams dumps it behind Mathot, but Carlson will go get it now. Less than a minute remaining in regulation time. And it's dumped in by Condra. Letang to the puck and works into the corner to Martin. And he stick handles nicely to protect the puck over to Letang. Now Adams can't take the pass on the wall. Letang steps in. He lifted the stick of the Senator to get the puck and then dump it up into the Senator zone. And this is icing against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you know how the Ottawa Senators defense, they went back with their arms shaking and their legs chugging like they were going 100 miles an hour to buy the call. One-handed by Letang, who did not gain the red line. Face-off comes down. Penguins have already used their timeout, I believe, have they not? Maybe not. It was Ottawa earlier, so Mike Johnson's going to use it right now. It was the Ottawa Senators who used their timeout earlier. Mike Johnson's going to use his right now with 24.8 left here in the third period. You got Sutter on the ice. He's going to take the face-off. It's his good side to the right of Thomas Greiss.
Well, Bob, the Penguins find themselves in a spot here where they were leading 3-0 in this game. Your thoughts on just what their approach was here in the second half of the game and what maybe it should have been, or if it just was a matter of the Senators playing so well?
Well, it's both. You got to give Ottawa credit here. They were rested last night. Pittsburgh come in late, well after midnight. They don't sleep like you normally would. They tried to get a rest here this morning in Ottawa. They're tired. You can see they're a tired bunch right now. And Ottawa have upped the ante. They forced Pittsburgh to play at a higher pace. Pittsburgh wanted to get out of here with not a lot of exhaustion, not a lot of sweat equity in the third period of play. They had that last night because they had a big lead. They tried the same thing tonight. Give Ottawa credit for fighting back. The penalties didn't help, though. They had got themselves into back-to-back penalties that just got Ottawa just going, just interested.
Now Carlson has trouble with it. The game is tied at 4. We're down to 14 seconds of regulation. Then we'll go to overtime.
And that'll be fun. Watching Carlson with the puck in overtime, watching Letang, Crosby, Malkin. That'll be some fun stuff.
Carlson's just going to let time tick away here. And the Senators with 17 shots in the third period. The Penguins with 8. And now the result is 32-25 with the score tied at 4. We'll be back with our Barrel.com overtime on Root Sports in a moment. Time for Barrel.com overtime. 4-on-4 hockey. Let's take a look at the goals. This is the third period scoring.
Zibanejad down low on the power play. Hoffman off the face-off play. Crosby finds a loose puck to make it 4-2. You think it's over, but Stone and Turris score 13 seconds apart here late in the third period of play with under 5 minutes left. We go to the overtime frame. The Ottawa Senators without Chris Neil. The Penguins without Kunitz. 10-minute misconducts with less than 5 minutes to play in the third period. So Pittsburgh starts with Crosby and Perron. Zibanejad and Ryan up front for the Sens. Look out on the backside. You got Chris Letang and you got Mr. Carlson.
Well, it's never easy to win both ends of a back-to-back. The Penguins haven't done it since mid-November. They're looking to try to do that right now in overtime. Here comes Mark Bethot to center ice, and he'll dump it up into the corner. Zibanejad threw it behind the net. Bethot, the defenseman, moving up on the play. Now taken by David Perron. The Penguins looking to get untracked offensively here. Here comes Perron. He found Sidney Crosby. And Sid busting into the Senators zone. Down the wing against Carlson. Shoots it. And it went off the body of Leonard. Even where the puck was again. Fortunately for him, the Senators got it first.
I tell you, you got a second shot at that, Staggy. I could see it from here. I know you couldn't from upstairs. But Crosby batted a second rebound off the shoulder of the netminder. He batted it again.
Carlson with a quick release there, and he just missed the target. Crosby with a nice pass to Como to get him going. Up to Letang down the wing against Borowiecki. Letang to the backhand, and he got too much of an angle on the shot, and it went to the corner. Now it's taken on the near wing by Dupre, wheeling the puck to Como. In front for Malkin, cutting to the net and went right by his stick. And it's taken down by Bobby Ryan, who dumps it rink wide. Borowiecki trying to get to it, but Dupre got there first ahead of Malkin. Nice pass to Como, cutting in. Como to the backhand, pulls the trigger, and he hit Leonard with a shot. I don't think it was going towards the net. Boy, he hung on to it for an eternity.
Yeah, he did, and Leonard was all discombobulated here. It was on his wall, all arms and legs there.
the netminder Leonard and Greiss, they switch ends. It's a long change right now. And you can see the changes already affecting the teams. What a great rule they put in there. Crosby coming late on the 4-on-4. Was able to gain speed, go around Carlson once, batted the second one wide. Here's the first shot, the second bat out of the air. He tried to jam it in off the shoulder. There's Como. Look at Leonard. All out of sorts.
Como took him down and just toyed with him for a moment, hanging onto that puck. Here's Sutter. By the way, Blake Como has a couple of overtime game winners this year for the Penguins. Here goes Mark Stone. Swinging wide on the play, dropping it off. Greiber with a shot, and it's off the stick of Sutter to Greiss. And they pried it free as the whistle was about to blow. So it'll be, and now that's not something Letang was happy with. The Senators got one last stick in there.
Yeah, the puck kind of came in there a little wobbly, and Greiss really didn't have all of it. Might have had part of it, and that's why the Senators went in there and played. Well, the Penguins OT scorers this year, 5 of them. Como with a pair, Crosby, Dupre, and Malkin. And good to have Blake Como back after missing 20 games. His first back-to-back session.
Face-off. Lazar after the puck with the Penguins won the draw. Martin up the wing now for Perron. He banks it off the boards. Crosby trying to win the race to the puck, but it's taken by Mike Hoffman. And Hoffman comes to center ice for the Senators. And Lazar on his right shoots it and missed the goal off a stick. It sails up into the netting. And another face-off coming up.
He's just dangerous, Steggy. You know, Hoffman, you know, guys, when they feel it, they feel that confidence. He's carrying the puck. You almost think, I think he almost thinks if he shoots it there and gets it on net, he could score, and why not? When you got 18 even-strength goals. That's a hefty total. It really is. For a guy who doesn't play power play.
He's 25 years old, so he's an older rookie. Stone is 22.
Carlson back on the ice on the point for Ottawa.
Now taken by Mathot. Leaning on him is Bortuzzo. Crosby in there reaching. And Crosby came out of there with it against Lazar. Dave Cameron using Curtis Lazar here in the overtime period. Here's Bortuzzo to center ice, and he's only 20 years old. Bortuzzo slips the check of Mathot, moves it in behind the net. Crosby trying to fight his way through a body to get to the puck. Lazar kept him at bay, and it's taken now by Carlson. 2:20 to go in the overtime. Hoffman, I think, has to get off here. He's going to keep carrying the puck. He's tripped up. There's no call on the play, and it's Como who's going the other way with the puck. Como tried to send it to Malkin, cutting in. Now taken on the near wing by Hoffman. 2 minutes even to go in the overtime. Carlson to Hoffman. Looks for McCulloch. McCulloch sends it around. It's going to come up the wall for MacArthur. Now for Carlson, but he was not a good pass. And springing Malkin was Como. Como trying to set up Malkin, but Carlson did a good job to cut him off. And now it comes out to Pouliot. Derek Pouliot drifting. He could be dangerous from there. He finds Letang. Back to Pouliot. Looking at the net and shooting, and a save by Leonard. Well, you really felt like Pouliot might do something there. He seemed to be on a mission. He almost fired one by the goalie.
Yeah, he was set up by Letang on the blue line. He got that puck from Chris. Look at the movement there by those two exceptional mobile defensemen. And you see Pouliot dips in. Took that shot right up into the chest protector of Leonard with Malkin in front.
Well, an important face-off here with 1:32 to go. Sutter leans in there to take it against Zibanejad. Hornquist got in there to try to help win it. It comes to Scuderi, to Dupre. The wrist shot. Stopped by Leonard. Rebound backhander by Hornquist. Stopped. Scuderi to the puck. Back to the front of the net. Hornquist shots at it. And Leonard in the butterfly makes the save on that. And then Ryan comes to center ice. He was looking to his left. Scuderi stepped up to try to take it away from him. And the Penguins, Dupre has control.
Dupre looking one way, passing the other.
Nice play by Sutter to bank it off the boards to himself. Trying to catch up with it. And dumps it off the far wall where it'll be taken by Eric Greiber. Greiber bumped by Sutter. 53 seconds remaining in the overtime. Ryan sends a man away to center ice. It's Zibanejad. And he'll dump it to the net just wide. Ryan gets in on the puck first. Martin bumps him. Ryan looks back for Turris, who just came off the bench. But the Penguins prevent that pass from coming through, and Martin's got control of it. Out to Sidney Crosby. And here goes Sid. Couple Senators are back. Sid left it there for Letang. Coming to the goal. Letang goes behind the net. Now he tried to step out and was knocked off his stick. He gets it back, however. Letang to Martin. Martin to Letang. 20 seconds to go in the overtime. Letang with Mathot trying to stay with him. Letang to the backhand, and it's off the stick of Mathot. And then Mathot took Letang all the way to the glass. He did a good job on him there.
I'll tell you, Letang just ran out of real estate as Sidney Crosby and Letang came in on a 2-on-2. Sidney Crosby gave it the one-arm push-off, protecting the puck. He was held up by Carlson Letang. He didn't know whether to go around the other side, just stop and come back on the forehand. You could see that they stayed on Letang. I mean, he's trying everything here. He's got the hovercraft going on this shift, and he just couldn't find a place to park it.
And now Crosby leans in to take a draw against Kyle Turris with 14.3 seconds to go in the overtime. Big face-off here. Scuderi and Dupre at the points. Malkin on the ice with Sid. And Turris won the face-off. And Gryba trying to get it out. And he does work it along for Turris. 8 seconds to go. One more rush here for the Senators, perhaps. Borowiecki dumps it to the corner. 3 seconds left. And we are going to go to a shootout. So the Barrel.com overtime comes to a close. Let's go to the Barrel.com shootout.
And we're going to come quick to this. Take a look at Crosby again with the skate, with the one arm, the protection of the puck, leaving it for Letang, who was following up. And the whole time he's got everybody draped over top of him. And Mike Johnson, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He said, I may not play Crosby Malkin at the end of the hockey game. Well, he had them both out there at the end of this one. And for fear, he was afraid, Staggy, that they would be gassed. And certainly in the second of back-to-back, a lot of overtime here. He thinks that they would be tired if they were the first and second shooter coming up in the shootout, because they usually get to the shootout very quickly.
But they were on the ice for that face-off at the very end. Jim Rutherford, with his arms folded, I think was looking forward to a Penguin win here going to the third period, and not too pleased, I would imagine, with the results of the third and the Senators tying the game.
And see, this is another thing. Sidney Crosby always retapes his stick, so if he's on the ice, he's got to come off here. You don't have much time, so he's got the tape off the stick. He's still got a little bit on. He comes over here. Now he's looking for some help, some fresh tape, and he's not ready to shoot first if they wanted to use him. And the Senators have chosen to shoot first here, being the home club.
Well, we saw Bobby Ryan earlier on a penalty shot. He went back to the forehand on Greiss on that occasion. Let's see what he does this time. If he shoots it, maybe goes to the backhand or comes back with the same move. Bobby Ryan against Thomas Greiss to start the shootout. And he goes back to the forehand again, and Greiss is there again to stop him.
Well, he went to the well. There was nothing there the first time, and the second time it's dry as well. Carbon copy, is it not, of what we saw earlier on that penalty shot.
David Perron against Robin Lehner. Perron winding up, trying to get the go-ahead here, and he finally does. Here comes David Perron, trying to draw the first goal, and he does. He scores on Robin Lehner. So the Penguins have the jump on the Senators in the shootout.
What a release by Perron as he cradles the puck and snaps it over the glove hand of Lehner. Advantage Pittsburgh, 1-0 here.
Kyle Turris tries now. He's a skilled hockey player, Kyle Turris. In there against Greiss, who came out to challenge, and his shot is stopped. Great job by Greiss there.
Pittsburgh can end it.
Yep.
Crosby's going to go. It was a little indecision there. Was it going to be Letang or was it going to be Crosby? Smile by Letang right now. Crosby can end it.
Crosby did not skate to the puck. He just takes it with him from the center dot, shoots, and a save made by Lehner. And we continue.
Well, they need a goal here, does Ottawa.
This is their third shooter. And so here comes Zibanejad trying to keep it going. Zibanejad against Grace, and he missed the goal, put it off the outside of the post. And the Penguins do get the extra point, so they do get the 2 points. And they have won back-to-back games, both ends of them, for the first time since mid-November. It wasn't easy, but they found a way to get it done. And David Perron is our McDonald's player of the game, scoring the deciding goal in the shootout after the Senators erased a 3-0 Penguins lead and also a 4-2 lead. The Penguins win it 5-4.
It was hard fought. The Penguins learn a lesson and maybe how to defend a lead in the third period of play. And Greiss gets the win, 2 points, Pittsburgh.
We will take a break, and then we will return to wrap things up for you from Ottawa. The Penguins victorious tonight. Thomas Greiss gets the win, 5-4.